Yeah. I mean, church is the only reason I feel like I can get up and do stuff in front of people. Because, like, I do have stage fright. But we're so used to, because I've done it so often now, I'm like, okay, you just have to go up in front of all these people. Cool. Like, church is really cool for that.
People overlook church because of other things. But I think at the foundation, church is like just great for development, period.
Absolutely.
Development, networking, community, like all this stuff.
Assuming you're in a healthy church.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's a big caveat, though.
But that's what I mean. At the foundation of what it is, not the other stuff that comes with it.
Well, yeah, because I was going to say, I know what you mean, but I actually might disagree. I think it's helpful in any way in terms of actually getting you to practice doing those things. What you receive from it or how you're poured into is a whole other story. Or you're like how it becomes afterwards. Like it might start to feel like a lot of pressure, things like that. That's the state of the church. But either way, there's that skill. No matter what, how do I phrase this?
That's
no matter
true,
what the church
Paul's letters
is
were like,
yeah,
that is the purpose of them.
Yeah.
So you mean like you developed the skill
just being in that environment,
maybe possibly because of like unfortunate or like not the healthiest of circumstances, but like you still learned the skill itself.
Yeah,
which is like
the
transferable to like outside of church settings.
Exactly. Whether it really, took root in you and was a healthy, growing, cultivating and purposeful experience, that depends on the health of the church. But like you could go to church as a kid and just learn to become a good public speaker, even if the church was toxic. You're still going to learn because they're still going to throw you up there and make you do stuff. You know what I mean?
How sad is that, though?
I think the idea that an unhealthy church is whatever, it's kind of like an arrogant and selfish view of church.
What do you mean?
Because isn't the purpose of church to like learn to be with all these different kinds of people? Now, in terms of like the pastor having an affair, I feel like that's the outlying, right? But let's say your pastor is good, but then you just have people in your church who are a little toxic.
And I mean, that's inevitable.
Learning how to navigate be around these people, regardless of whatever, I think that's part of it.
Can you explain what you mean again? Because I don't think I'm fully following you.
I think that apart from extreme circumstances, extreme being your pastor is having an affair, is stealing money from whatever, right? Because he's the leader. He's the head, right?
I mean, he's not, but anyway.
Well, he is the shepherd of that specific flock.
He may be a leader, but he's not the head.
He is of that body. He is. Not the body of Christ. That's Jesus, but like of that body, he's leading them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're like, I can see it in your face. You're like,
Okay, yeah, continue.
I think apart from that, I think church hurt and then leaving because of that, to an extent, is rooted in selfishness. Full take.
Those are fighting words right there.
Why?
What do you mean? You don't know me? You're saying why as if you don't know my story?
The mics are on. Go.
Okay, why do you think that?
Because it makes it about me and how I feel about things. Versus, regardless of who upsets me or hurts me, I'm still here to serve and be a part of this community. Through the BS.
I understand what you're saying. But I think that a pastor, let's say, could have a good heart and could have the best of intentions and be doing the best that he possibly can. However, the health of the church could still be like in the trash. And I don't think that then means that like you have to just stay and like put up with that and be in a really unhealthy, toxic environment because you feel like you just like have to stay because it's like the right thing to do.
Describe what unhealthy is to you. Because I feel like when you talk about unhealthy, you're talking about the extremes.
Well, people are imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
People make mistakes. And so therefore, anywhere you are, it's going to be an imperfect environment because there's people there.
Mm-hmm.
And that counts for churches as well. There is no such thing as a perfect church because there's no such thing as perfect people. So I'm not talking about a church where like, you know, everybody is genuinely, you know, trying their best and has good intentions and has a good heart, but there happens to be imperfections and mistakes made. Like, I'm not talking about that. Because then in that case, yes, I would agree with you. You can't just leave because it's not, or feel justified in leaving because it's an imperfect environment because you yourself are contributing to that imperfect environment.
I'm asking, what do you mean? Not what don't you mean?
Like a space where like people's priorities are really messed up and backwards, and then that impacts the way that they approach people and the way that they teach things, or the way that they, you know, speak about like certain ideas or concepts, or the way that they help or don't help people, or the maybe terrible advice that's given, or whatever the case may be.
But like when you say people, so you're referring to the entire church.
Yeah, not just the one person who happens to be on stage speaking at the moment.
So realistically, which church do you think where the entire church is the way you're describing?
I think they 100% exist.
That wasn't my question.
I don't think I could like give you like a list of like top 10.
I know, but I said realistically, where, okay, let me rephrase the question for clarity.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Realistically, do you think that majority of the type of churches that you are describing exist, in the sense that the entire church is how you're describing it, and it's not a few people?
How you're describing it being the unhealthy piece?
Yes.
Okay.
Because you use terms like they, but right, as opposed to like when I've seen toxic churches, usually it's just a few people that are in positions they shouldn't be in positions of leadership. So it bleeds through.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like the actual full church,
mm-hmm.
I don't think it's everybody that's going to be toxic.
No, I don't necessarily think so either. I do agree with you in the sense that like I think things like that can end up happening because it like comes from the top down. So even if it's not like the lead pastor, let's say, you could have, you know, different people on the pastoral staff, or, you know, on the board, or whatever it happens to be, or, you know, people in whatever positions of leadership that there happen to be.
But do you not think that the leadership is affected by the head?
Yeah, but I don't think that means that whoever is at the head of leadership has control over what these people do. I think that you can be setting a good example, but not everyone's going to follow it. Am I not answering the question?
No, I just don't agree with your perspective on it.
Why?
Because I think if the head is doing what the head is supposed to do, everything else falls in line. And I think,
do you think it's that easy though?
Yeah, I think because if the head is doing what they're supposed to do, it weeds out the people who are not. If you're leading a team properly and then somebody underneath you and I put that in quotes because I know that says right? But if somebody underneath you is not doing what they're supposed to do, they don't last long. I think chronically ill churches is because the head is chronically ill. I don't think it's the head is okay, but then someone else is affecting the entire church.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
That doesn't.
I see what you're saying.
So that's why I say, take away the extreme, because I think if you go to a church and the pastor, the head, is not or is toxic, then okay, this is a red flag, right? But if there's toxic people, but the head is not, then I think that's. I think finding your gripes in those circumstances comes from a place of me. That's my take.
What are your thoughts?
I'm like pretty on point with EJ on this, I think. Because I agree that if the head, again, of that body, that organization, whatever it is, if they are on their P's and Q's and they are being mindful of what is happening and they're correcting people in love and they're saying, okay, like, let's work on this, yada, 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 those things are not going to fester. And so to the point of when it's time to leave or not leave, I do think that we have to anticipate serving our church, serving the Lord in that space with those people, knowing that we won't always be happy, knowing that things are going to go wrong, knowing that you're going to feel some type of way sometimes, but that ultimately we're not here for the people around us. We're serving them, but that's not what we're here for. I think the change and the shift happens when you are becoming chronically ill spiritually in that space to the point where you're unable to, like, your relationship with God, your own, is being affected. And then it might be time not to leave, but to pivot. And when I say leave, I mean, like, I wouldn't encourage somebody to just stop going if that's possible. I would say maybe start to look for somewhere else where you feel like you can still be rooted and still be planted and still be active, but that you're not having that experience that has been wearing you down so much.
But by that logic, what do you mean by saying that your own relationship with God is being affected? Because at the end of the day, isn't that a you choice?
I think that it is a you choice, but you have to be mindful of that.
So what do you mean?
So I think
because you said your reasoning for when it would be okay to leave and find somewhere else is when you feel like your own relationship with God personally is being affected.
Yes.
But if that's a choice that you make as to whether or not that happens or not, then how can you put that on anybody else and saying that they're creating an environment or a situation that is then affecting your relationship with God? So in that case, it's okay to leave.
I think I'm getting stuck on your word. It's your choice. Because a relationship, it's not like, okay, I'm choosing that our relationship is going to get bad now. Like, that's a symptom of what's happening, where you're realizing I'm really struggling to come to God with something, or I just feel lost. I feel burnt out. I'm not really talking to him. I've lost that intimacy with him. But that's not a choice. That would be a symptom of what's happening. And in some cases, you might be like, okay, that means I need to be more. What do you mean?
How is that a symptom of what's happening and not something that you have control over yourself?
I think that when people are, and I'm still not sure if I fully understand your question. I'm not going to lie. Maybe you should rephrase.
If you feel like something is happening, a situation like an ongoing situation at church, or like a culture that's been allowed at a church, right? That you're saying is affecting your own personal relationship with God. But it's your own personal relationship with God, right? So you have control, so to speak, over how that goes, how much, time and effort or whatever you invest in your own relationship with God. So if it's yours, it's personal like this, that doesn't necessarily have to do with the people around you, then how do you justify saying that this situation outwardly is affecting your own relationship with God so much to the point where it's okay to leave that church and find somewhere else to be connected? Did that make sense?
Yes. So I don't know. Somehow I'm still a little bit like, and maybe it's because I'm not thinking about it from the same context you are. But how would I phrase this? Because I'm not saying that you need to, first of all, I'm not saying that it's like directly, okay, because this specific thing happened with these specific people, now my relationship with God is impacted. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right? I'm saying that there are sometimes environments in which you're not blooming very well. And then that is your responsibility to determine, like, Lord, you and him need to talk it out. Am I staying here? Do you have somewhere else for me? And so I'm saying there's situations like in which it does make sense. He is calling you somewhere else. Like, that's what I'm saying. But I don't think that the second there's toxic things happening between people or whatever the situation might be, you immediately have to be like, okay, I'm out. Because at that point, it is still your choice and your responsibility. And like, that doesn't have to impact your relationship with God. But we're still human. And sometimes it will. Maybe it shouldn't, or we'd rather it not, but it's going to happen because we're human. And then at that point, our number one priority is like our relationship with God. And from that, the fruit of like serving and sanctification and all that type of stuff. So that's, I don't know if I really answered the question though.
So at what point, so where's the line then?
I don't think there's a general line. It's a reason we have a relationship with God, and mine is different than yours is different than EJ's is different. Like that line is going to be you seeking God and saying, you need to tell me what to do here. And he will. I think that's the only answer. Because your line is going to be very different than my line. No matter what.
The line of like, at what point do I like pack up and get out of here?
Exactly. But I think if everyone comes in with the energy, and I feel like this is kind of what EJ was saying, or at least what I agreed with of it. If we just came in with the energy of like, these things are happening, you know, I don't like it. There's these shady things happening, and not like petty things. It's still big things. But if everyone just up and left and was like, not doing this, I mean, we wouldn't get very far. Imagine if the early church did that, because they were having some drama. And if people had just packed it up and were like, this is toxic, this is not healthy for me, and left, or like paused their involvement in church, we would not be where we are with the gospel today. Like, we might not even be sitting here.
With that, you should welcome the pod.
Okay.
Oh yeah, true. Welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Big Girl Panties, the podcast where faith meets real life, and we dive into the heart of womanhood. I'm Shayna. This is Priya. We're your hosts, and we invite you to join us on embracing the messy, the complicated, and the beautiful aspects of life through a Christian lens, and put on our big girl panties to tackle the tough stuff together. You've obviously been here for a bit of our conversation. How are we doing with it? What's going on?
I'm not even gonna lie. I have to pee.
Again? Bro, no.
No, you don't.
No, that's medical.
But like this time I actually have to pee.
What do you mean this time you actually have to? I heard.
No, like before it was like I think I have to pee a little bit.
But
so let me just like do
pee.
Yeah, but like now I like, you know, when your bladder starts doing that
you need
thing
to start
when
practicing
you feel
holding
like
it.
Thank you. You know how many thank you. I've been saying
because,
it.
Priya, it's been like 20 minutes.
Before I came in here, I chugged the rest of that Starbucks.
Still,
so it was a
like,
tall. She's acting like it was a venti.
You have conditioned yourself
to pee constantly.
To think that the littlest bit of feeling of holding it.
No, but this is like I actually have to pee though. Like if we were on a road trip right now, I'd be like, okay, where's the next like gas station? Because I gotta pee.
But you would have done that as well 20 minutes ago.
No, I wouldn't have.
See, this is what we're talking about with the lines.
Toxic.
Direct
I'm leaving.
direct parallel with what we were talking about. Weird, but still parallel. I mean, if you got to pee, do what you got to do, I guess.
It's like, you know, like my bladder feels like, you know, when it's just like, hello, we gotta.
Your bladder always says hello.
I think
her bladder is the chattiest bladder that has ever lived.
I think over the years, you've weakened your bladder muscles by peeing every second. You haven't taught your body how to hold it.
I am queen of the itty bitty bladder committee.
Should we do an exposure?
I'm just saying.
I was about to go into therapist mode.
Do it.
About what?
Because sometimes, we know OCD is something that I treat. And sometimes we do exposures, and that's a thing where people, they're like, I think I have to pee. And it becomes especially for like kids, it's like, no, like everything gets disrupted because I think I have to pee. And so we'll sit there and we'll be like, yeah, I might have to pee, but I could wait a few more minutes. And we do it until the urge to pee starts to decrease, because it does. Fascinating, right?
Get her, yeah.
And so what happens is when we have a trigger, like thought, idea, fear, whatever, our anxiety spikes, and the urge to do something to get rid of that anxiety, even though you're not reading it as anxiety, it is anxiety. We have the desire to do something to bring the anxiety back down. And we typically do something before our anxiety tapers off naturally on its own. So by acknowledging that this is how I feel, but I'm not doing anything about it, it gives the anxiety a chance to like chill out on its own. And then you can make your decision in your full control and not being driven by what you're worried about.
Do I have pee anxiety?
I low-key think you have a little bit of pee anxiety. I'm not diagnosing. I'm just saying, in our 20 however many years of friendship, you're always worried that you're going to have to pee, or you think you have to pee. Like, I think you spend a lot more time thinking about peeing than you realize. Genuinely.
This is a
because
big
like
moment
you're
for me
scanning
as
your
the husband.
body. You're like, wait, do I have to pee? I think I have to pee. I'm just saying.
You know, okay, I feel like because when I was growing up, you know, like your parents do that thing before you leave the house, like pee before you leave.
Yeah.
You know? And it was like, just try, because you might actually have to pee. And then when we leave, you don't want to have to go and like have to find a bathroom. So just try now before we go.
Yeah.
And I did.
Mm-hmm. But we're not leaving the house.
And you just peed 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, but you know when you drink a lot of stuff quickly?
No, 20 minutes, no.
I think genuinely,
Sorry.
Priya.
Let me not be aggressive.
Somebody in the comments back me up here, please.
Okay, I say this in love. I do think you need to work on holding it.
Oh my God. I feel so validated as a husband right now.
I feel so called out right now.
I've been calling
Again,
you out
in
for
love,
years.
because like, let's say, you know what? I would have been like, yeah, go pee. If 20 minutes ago you had been like, I feel like I need to pee. And then you're like, I'm going to wait a minute. Because what's going to happen is you're going to go pee now and you're going to keep thinking about it. And at some point in the episode, you're going to be like, I think I have to pee again. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And like pee is coming out, but it doesn't need to. Like,
what do you mean?
What's the thing I explained to you earlier?
If you have to pee and you hold it for forever, that's how you get UTIs.
Yeah, but I'm not
20
asking you to
minutes
hold
is
it for
not
forever. I'm sorry, we're so aligned right now.
Somebody come save me.
Listen, I'm triggered because as the husband, I've been saying this to you from time, fam.
I'm so with
I
you,
have
Jay,
pee
on this.
anxiety?
If that's a thing, okay, because again, I'm talking about it in the context of OCD, right? And I don't think you have OCD pee anxiety by any means, but I'm saying that anxiety always functions the same.
I think I have a lot of other things.
You have plenty of other things, don't we all?
I'm unwell.
I think you've just conditioned
Generally
yourself.
unwell. But that's what I'm saying is that in general, the rule of anxiety, or if I could call it a rule, or my theory, you know, there's always a theory, is just that, yeah, it's anxiety increases and we immediately think, what can I do to decrease the anxiety? Not recognizing that it would go away on its own.
Okay, let me sit here and hold it for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And you like unofficially tell me what you like think of this professionally, but not professionally. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
I'm not sure where we're going.
I think that actually I'm like 99% convinced that I have trichotillomania.
You do. I actually used you for a case study in a paper I wrote.
What?
Yeah. Did I never tell you that?
No.
Yeah. And yeah, because you used to pick your eyebrows and your eyelashes to the point where there were bald spots. And I have excoriation, which is skin picking. But I've gotten better. I treated myself.
We're so unwell. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and you did a really good job. And you know what? The reason we know it's trichotillomania, which if you don't know, trichotillomania is where you pick at the hairs on your body. Some people do their arms, their eyebrows, their eyelashes. Our girls
Some people do like their head. I've seen that.
Their hair. Yes. Priya, yours is your eyelashes and your eyebrows.
And my eyebrows, yeah.
And I remember when we were like 13, it was really bad.
Oh, so bad.
Which is typically when we see it in girls is around age 12 to 14. And yours, again, was really bad. I think it was
actually younger than that, though. Because I have pictures of me when I was like, oh my gosh, how old was I? I don't know. I must have been around like 11, maybe 12.
But I remember us being at Rejoice and seeing you as kids. Because remember, I left Rejoice to be homeschooled by like, what, grade 2? So
no, it wasn't grade 2.
It was grade 2, I think. Or grade 3,
really?
Sorry. It was very early. I was not at Rejoice for that long in the grand scheme of things. But I remember us sitting there and you would just like be picking at stuff.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm saying that I feel like for you, it got really bad at around like 12, 13 is because you knew specifically why you were doing it. Like you would be like, oh, I'm stressed and then start to do it.
No, I didn't know.
But I remember you saying that. So I think subconsciously you knew.
Maybe. You know what?
I don't think you understood what was happening.
I remember saying that. I remember saying that because I didn't have any other explanation to give.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have a reason that makes sense to me to explain why I'm doing this. So let me just say this.
Yeah.
That was it.
No, you definitely do. And the funny thing is, because I remember you started wearing mascara to help.
Yeah.
That's actually something I would tell my clients. I'm like, hey, we like, because that's what the research will say, like do something to block it or make it unsatisfying.
Yeah.
So the mascara, it has a negative outcome. You get stuff on your fingers. You don't get as good of a grip, whatever.
You know what's funny about that?
You still do that.
Yeah. You know what's really funny?
It's so much better.
I actually found that the mascara
gives a good grip.
But
it's not that fun to get it all over your fingers. Unless you just don't care. Some people, but that's the thing. It's like you have to try a bunch of different things. Like some people, we do like picking pads. Actually, I feel like you would find those satisfying. Have you ever seen a picking pad?
No.
It's like a square pad and it's like a jelly-ish type of material, but a pretty firm jelly. And there's like glitter in there, like little sequence things, little like beads, and you get to literally just pick through it and like collect the things. It sounds weird.
Interesting.
But it can be very satisfying, especially if you have a tendency like to pick or pull anything on your person. I'm going to send you a link. I kid you not.
No, okay. Oh my gosh. I'm about to expose myself here. Okay. So when I was a kid, I had this blanket.
Yes.
I still have to pee, by the way.
Yeah. And that's okay.
Let it be known. Okay.
You have to pee and that's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I had this blanket.
Yeah.
And the corner of it, for some reason, I don't know how to explain it. This is totally self-diagnosed, by the way. You know when I found out that I had trichotillomania?
Yeah.
Was when I took an abnormal psychology class in my second year of university.
Yeah.
She started talking about it and I was sitting in the back of the room and I was like,
that's how I found out I had excoriation. It's
there's
crazy.
A name for this?
There's names for
and
so
other
many
people
things.
feel this too. It's not just me. What? That was a wild
That must have been such like a validating moment for you.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
I didn't cry, but I probably could have.
Yeah.
Because I literally in that moment was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
There's a name. Like this is the thing. This is the thing. This is the thing.
And it's so common. It is so common.
That's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had this blanket as a kid.
Yeah.
The corner of the blanket. I don't know what it was. Like something about like, I don't know how to explain it, but like the way that like the stitching in it, like, I don't know, in the corner.
Like the texture of it? Was it a sensory thing is what I'm asking? Okay.
Yeah. And so I would like pick at it and I would like in between my fingers, you know?
Yes.
To the point where like it got like worn down.
Yeah.
I did that with 2 blankets. Oh my gosh, this is so wow. I'm like really outing myself right now. Okay, and
but
now
you're saying that as though it's like this very odd, weird thing. Like I can bet you so many people are
but
like,
to
yeah,
me,
I get
it is
that.
an odd, weird thing because I've never met anybody else who who like
no
who
one
does
talks
that.
about it. That's
no one
why.
talks about it. But I've never met anybody else who does it.
Yes.
And up until like whatever it was, when was I in my second year of university? Like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8, I don't know, something like that.
The years just keep going up.
25, I don't know. I didn't even know that it was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally thought that I was just
weird,
mm-hmm. like odd
mm-hmm.
with no explanation.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't do it with blankets anymore. But now my problem is the inside, oh my gosh, the inside sleeve of my winter coats. Specifically, the left-hand side. So like,
but do you do it when you're stressed or when you're not thinking about it, or both?
Both.
Interesting.
Both. I actually, so like if you were to like put your hand into the left side of my winter coat right now,
it feels worn down.
Yeah. To the point where like there's like a little section of like the inside lining that's like ripped a little bit from just like over and over.
Yeah. Yeah. There's actual ways to treat that, and it's really cool. It's called body focused repetitive behaviors, that whole body of like trichotillomania, excoriation, excessive skin picking, nose picking. I'm sorry, I'm nerding out right now. And then
no, I love it. Help me, please.
And then it's called habit reversal training. That's what you do to stop. So the concept is like, I just realized how off topic we went to. I'm sorry.
No,
the concept is you have a habit, in your case, picking at something or like that sensory thing, and you replace it with a behavior that's less maladaptive, even though that's not really hurting anything. It does become a point where it's hurting when it's like your hair that you're picking at. Yeah. So you replace it with another
like
behavior.
The inside of my coat is just like shredded.
Yeah. So you're replacing the maladaptive behavior with a good behavior. And so it involves a few things. One, you're trying to pay attention to when you're most likely to do it. So again, do you do it mindlessly? Do you realize that certain thoughts trigger it? Or like if you're in a certain high stress situation, you're going to do that. 2, you're focusing on the urge, because you're going to feel the urge. Like you don't just all of a sudden start. Like sometimes you mindlessly do it, but you'll realize that there's the urge to get this feeling. And we're resisting that urge, which is exactly the same thing with peeing. And like you just have the urge to pee, but just because we have an urge doesn't mean we need to act on it. And so just because you have that urge, it's like resisting.
My bladder would say otherwise, but okay.
And it's just like, it's acknowledging that the urge is there and acknowledging the feeling that you're trying to go after, but we're holding back. And it might start off with, I'm just going to resist that feeling for 30 seconds. And then it builds up to a minute. And then it's like, okay, I could wait 5 minutes before I do this. And in the meantime, I'm going to replace it with a healthier behavior. So hence things like a picking pad, a stress ball, like like whatever that looks like for you, slime. Like people have a lot of things, fidget toys of any kind or sensory stuff. And eventually you build your tolerance to resist that urge. So it's still there, but you can ignore it. Like that's what happened to me. So excoriation is like skin picking. I would pick so badly. It was in my scalp. I had like bald spots. And again, no one knows because you can hide it. But like it was really bad. Like I would pick it until I bled. Yeah. Because it would be a stress thing. And but I also recognized there were certain spaces I did it in. So I wouldn't do it over here, but I would do it over there, or when I'm sitting in the specific spot, whatever. So I had to pay attention to that.
I'm curious, what were those spaces?
It was typically in my bedroom, in my bed, because like I could prop my hand. Oh, sorry, I could like prop myself a certain way.
Yeah.
I would do it other places too, a bit more mindlessly, but that was intentional. And so, or when you're doing something like watching TV, because your hands are free and you're just kind of there. So there's a boredom piece, but then also a stress-induced piece. Like it would get worse if I was in a stressful season, you know? And so I started with, I got a Pop-It toy. And anytime I felt the urge to pick at my skin, I would start playing with the Pop-It toy. And I would just pop, 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 like constantly until I start to feel like that urge went away. And then I also did other things like, you know, making sure that my scalp is well oiled so that like there's no dry skin to pick at, like things like that. Or like that the scab is healing better, essentially. This sounds so weird. Like it's kind of gross. EJ's face is like, "Ugh." But it happens to so many people. Yeah. It really does. Yeah. And so, I mean, the hair has grown back, sis. Like I'm good. But I still get the urge to do it all the time. I just don't.
Yeah. So like right now for me, my my winter coat is not as bad as past winter coats that I've had.
Good for you.
Thank you. But like you can still tell.
Yeah.
Like you can definitely still tell.
Yeah.
And I think because I'm just like older now and maybe I have a little bit more like self-control and self-awareness, I don't pick at like my eyelashes or my eyebrows or whatever in the same, like to the same extreme that I used to.
Right.
But I still do. So for me, I don't like I won't like pick at my eyebrows now to the point where I have like a total like
patches.
Bald spot or something, which is ironic. I'm a makeup artist. I could fix it and you would never know. I wonder if that's part of the reason.
What?
Why
Let me in.
I got so interested in makeup.
I mean, isn't that why you started wearing makeup though? I literally remember the day you were like, my mom said I could wear mascara. And I was like,
no, it was actually my aunt's idea.
It was your aunt's idea? Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wait, this is kind of funny because she's a psychiatric nurse.
She probably, sis knew what was up. She knew.
She knew.
But I literally remember you being like, yeah, and this is why. I literally vividly remember that conversation.
Yeah. But then I think that I just learned how to like fake.
Yes.
Like how to like cover it up basically.
Well, and that's what most people do.
You know?
Right?
So it wasn't it wasn't so much a thing that like helped me not do it. It just helped me cover up the fact that I was doing it.
Right.
You know?
And hence the resisting thing comes into play.
But yeah, now I don't do it to the point where I have like bald spots in my eyebrows anymore. And I don't do it to the point in my like eyelashes anymore where I have like bald spots.
Yeah.
But if I do it at some points in time, like more so than others, I can definitely tell like when my eyelashes are thinner.
Right.
Like right now, they're thinner than they normally are.
Yeah.
Specifically on this eye.
You have a problem with your left side.
Oh, why am I lopsided? I don't know.
Sensory stuff. It's weird.
I don't know. And now too, because I don't want it to be so obvious that like, where did your eyelashes go? I don't do it so much on my top eyelashes. I'll do it a little bit more on my bottom eyelashes.
Can you point the mic at your mouth and not your chin? Thanks. Continue.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay. And yeah, so like I don't wear like mascara on my bottom lashes as much as I used to because I have like naturally really long bottom lashes.
You do.
And I don't like do them with mascara the same way that I used to because then you would be able to tell that like there's like a little space. Like right now, I think on this eye, there's like a little space where I don't have any.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hit your girl up. We can actually work on that.
But isn't trichotillomania like isn't that under the umbrella of OCD? How does that work? Because I know people joke about, oh my gosh, like I have OCD. Like I just like everything clean. And like to be clear, that's not OCD.
Oh my gosh, that is the
it's
least
not
of your worries when it comes to OCD.
Yeah, no.
There's like, so you know, the diagnostic statistic manual. Is that statistical manual? Whatever. The DSM.
Yeah.
It has like the umbrellas for different disorders. OCD falls under.
I think I literally have my copy of it in the next room.
Oh, slay.
Let me go get it.
I think like things like OCD, body focus, repetitive behaviors, stuff like that fall under obsessive compulsive type disorders. So even OCD falls under that umbrella, but they're different. But a lot of the times you see a comorbidity. So you see OCD and you see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm sorry. I feel like I've just nerded out. And I also expose myself very hard. But I think so many people go through it and they just don't realize that that's a problem.
Yeah.
Or they like, it's just like, oh, like, why do you have that weird habit? And it's like, no, it's a thing.
Yeah.
That you could literally be treated for because it's that intense.
Yeah. No, and I wonder if when I was younger, if anybody around me had been able to identify what was happening and actually like give it a name and explain it to me, how that may have been different for me. Because my memories of it as a kid were like me having these like really long dark eyelashes naturally and then just like snatching them all out. And I remember my parents being like literally distraught, like actually distraught. Like, why
are you doing
you doing this to yourself? Like, what's happening? Why are you doing this to yourself? And then I would feel really like guilty and like,
yeah,
I don't know what to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't know what to tell you. But I can see that it looks strange when I look into the mirror, and I see that you're so literally
Upset about it.
distraught
Mhm.
over it. And so I feel bad about that.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I'm doing this. I have nothing to tell you. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with that stuff is there's so much shame and guilt that comes with it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why a lot of it goes undiagnosed, because kids become like kind of what you did, where you're still doing it. You just got covert with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like, okay, life hack. If I don't do it on this spot, but I do it on this spot, it won't be as noticeable.
Mm-hmm.
So I can still do it, but it does become the shameful thing. And when you get called out for it, you're like mortified.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when my mom would call me out for it, I would literally be like so embarrassed.
Yeah.
But it's like I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I can't stop because I don't even know why I'm doing it in the first place.
Right. But I will say sometimes I think that's very valid, but it's really helpful to move away from the idea of like, I need to know what it is, and rather just focus on what's the behavior,
Just stopping in general,
and how can I adjust it. I don't need to know the context. Like I might never know, and that's okay. I just need to know what's bothering me in terms of the physical action of it, and how can I maneuver away from that.
Which, like, as an adult, yes. But like for me as a kid, when like at that age you're already trying to figure out like
everything,
why am I the way that I am in relation to everybody else around me, because I now, you know, as like a pubescent 13-year-old have this like insane sense of like self-awareness in the world around me that I never had before. So in that sense, in that context, not knowing why I was doing something that other people around me were not doing, that was very strange.
I wish that your parents had known what it was when you were younger, because the thing is, kids pick up on that concept of I don't need to know why, I just need to understand that I'm doing it and know how I'm going to change. Kids pick that up way faster than adults, like every time. Like adults are like, but I don't understand. And it's like, you don't need to. Like turn that part of your brain off. But again, for a kid, as long as you tell them, okay, it doesn't matter, this is just what we're dealing with, they're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, kids are more uncomplicated.
Absolutely. And just more flexible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool
that was,
stuff though, right?
That was so, yeah.
I mean, not cool that it happens, but like it's fascinating.
No, it's fascinating. It's so interesting. I wish I wasn't like this.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm going to go too far in.
No, what?
I was going to say there's so many different like sectors of it. Because sometimes you'll say to somebody like, oh, do you do any skin picking? Do you do any hair pulling? And they're like, no. And you're like, what about excessive nose picking? What about like your cuticles? What about biting your nails? What about this? What about that? And they're like, oh. But it all falls under that. This is very niche, but I just love it.
It is fascinating.
It is. Yeah. Anyway, to wrap that up.
Now I want to just like pick myself apart. Okay, wait, no pun intended.
Yeah. Maybe let's not. Can I ask you, what's the urge to pee right now?
I very much still have to pee.
Okay.
Can I go pee?
Can I just point out to you that like you don't usually hold it this long, and you can. Nothing
I know
happened.
I can. I just don't enjoy it.
Okay, but what's wrong with not enjoying something sometimes?
That's fair.
Right? Gotcha.
Can I please go to the bathroom?
Do whatever, bro. Do whatever. Your house, your rules.
Uno momento. Okay. I feel better now. Let's do
You're good?
a few moments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine, you go first, because
mine's just little.
Yeah, because you're just teeny weeny, just a little girl, just a baby.
No, mine is just I caught like a wind of motivation yesterday.
Oh,
yeah. So I did some spring cleaning, which felt really good.
Yes.
Because like the weather was nice too, so I had the windows open.
It was really
You know,
nice.
when you're cleaning and you have the windows open, that hits different.
It hits very different
than when you're cleaning and the windows are closed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because I feel like the air is being cleaned, you know?
Yes. Well, you want this space to be crispy and fresh.
It's got to be crispy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, you know, when like the smell of like the cleaning products mix with like the smell of just like fresh air, you know?
What's your favorite cleaning
fresh air
product
bleach
smell? I have one for sure.
I don't like things that are like floral or like sweet scented.
Yeah.
Like if it's scented with something, like give me lemon.
Okay.
Or like eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to be smelling like flower scented, whatever.
Fair. I feel like flower scents can be kind of heavy in the end.
But also it's just weird.
Why do you think it's weird?
Because what?
Like, I like a lavender cleaning product, I'm not going to lie. But when it gets to like bouquet floral, that's like headache.
Yeah, no.
I am obsessed with the smell of Pine Sol. Specifically, the original, like the original
like
Pine Sol scent. No, when I tell you, I'm like, when I go to clean the bathroom, I like fill the sinks with hot water, stop them, pour a splash in each so that it just like permeates. And I know that's not good for me.
That might be a black people thing.
It's such a black people thing.
I like Pine Sol too.
Pine Sol is it, bro.
That reminds me of my childhood.
Same. And to me,
so it's nostalgia.
Yes, but also no, it's just necessity. Do you know what I mean?
I understand as a black person.
Yeah. Okay, actually, anybody black watching,
chime in.
Like, pop off in the comments.
Reveal yourself.
We need to know, like, is that a black people thing? Because I have like some of my girlfriends that are black. They're like that too. They're like, Pine Sol hits different. And so the smell of Pine Sol,
I do agree though. When you know that the floors have just been done because you can smell the Pine Sol in the air.
To me,
it's good.
When I'm cleaning the bathroom, if there's not a hint of bleach smell in the air, I didn't clean well. And
I agree.
If I'm done cleaning and there's not a hint of Pine Sol freshness in the air, and I'll take the lavender Pine Sol, so the purple one, but like really,
I like the purple one.
But the heavy hitting one is the OG, just Pine Sol, the faint pine scent.
What color is that one? Is that with the yellow one?
If I could find a man that smelled like original Pine Sol, I'd be done for.
That's crazy.
I would be so into it. Oh, he would smell so good.
So what I'm hearing is you're at home mopping the floor with Pine Sol, and like Shane is just like starting to feel a little like hot and bothered. Like,
okay, well, ew, not hot and bothered. But it's a scent that I deeply enjoy.
That's really funny. No, you know what it is for me?
I'm just outing myself as being so weird in this episode.
We are weird.
Yeah,
and honestly, the sooner the people figure it out, the better. Yeah. I like lemon. I don't mind something like a eucalyptus or like a lavender,
like a very,
if the case may be, it's fine,
essential oil type vibe.
Yeah, not in like a hippy dippy kind of a way.
No, but like I just eucalyptus and lavender are like classic.
It's just fresh.
Yeah.
And the bathroom, I 100% agree. If the bathroom does not have a slight air of bleach to it when I'm done, I failed. I failed.
Wifey status relocked.
Have to do it again.
Like have to start over.
Yeah. To the point where I bought so I had a bathroom like cleaner.
Yes.
And it had that like, bleachy kind of scent to it.
Yeah.
And it was almost done. So I had to go back and get another one. And they didn't have that one. So I had to buy like the slightly scented version of it because it was the only one they had.
Yeah.
And like, because it was scented, you don't like really smell the bleach after. And so now the bathroom smells like that when I'm done cleaning it, which like, I guess it's fine. Like I can still smell the product. So I know that I cleaned it and it's good.
But it needs to have a slight antiseptic
but it's not
vibe.
The same.
It needs to have that like sterilized hospital type energy. Barely though.
No, I don't want it strong.
It can't be strong, but like
I don't want to feel like I'm going to pass out while I'm cleaning the bathroom.
No.
But I do want my nose hairs to just be a little bit like
slightly on edge, singed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know that that's so bad for us. I know it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
That product you're talking about had a strong bleach smell.
The Lysol one?
Yes. I hated it. It gave me a headache every time I walked in the bathroom.
It wasn't that strong.
Yes, it was.
What?
But are you using
I love it so much.
Did you use it everywhere though? Because there's specific areas where I think it's okay to like tone it down and like maybe pick a more natural based product for certain surfaces. But then there's some where I'm like, no, I'm going with bleach, bro.
Like, okay, what do you do?
Girl, this is gonna be a whole day. Because first of all, I have like a caddy where I carry all the cloths, and I have a different color coded cloth for every surface in the bathroom. So the toilet is a different color than the sinks. That's a different color than the shower. That's a different color than like dusting and mirrors, right?
Okay.
So everything's color coordinated.
Okay.
The toilet, obviously, bleach. Bleach.
Yes.
Bleach and bleach alone. And so first I'll bleach it with like the Lysol like bleach toilet bowl cleaner. This is crazy. Cleaning routine. And
should we actually be vlogging right now?
Reset. And then after that, then I go in with the Vim. But you can't mix them together because poof, you know.
Right.
I can't tell you how I know that.
But they make Vim with bleach in it though.
Yes, but that's because they cooked it up in their little lab.
True.
You doing it at home, don't.
Yeah.
And then obviously cleaning, like wiping the toilet, some sort of bleach based Lysol-y type thing.
Something, yeah.
The sinks, they get Vimmed down, wiped down first with disinfectant and then with Lysol because I want the smell, you know? And then the showers and the bathtubs, I'll typically use like some sort of tile cleaner for that. Again, if there's one thing I'm gonna do, it's figure out a way to use Lysol, or it's not Lysol, Pine Sol. So I'm gonna then go over again with Pine Sol. I just got this new gadget. It's like this electric, it has an extendable arm and a spinning brush head. And so I could do all the tiles.
I've seen those.
It's so cleaning TikTok coded. Like, you know what I mean? And so I could go through and like do the buff out all the tiles. So I'll do that first with the tile disinfectant and then go over it again with Pine Sol. Same with the floors. Do you watch those
professional cleaning videos on TikTok?
Sometimes. No, not the professional ones. Sometimes I just watch the girlies who really like get in there. Oh. But I haven't seen a professional one. That would be very satisfying.
Oh, the professional ones are so cool.
I watch the car detailing
ones.
Like
the ones. Oh no, that's good. But I'm talking about like the professional like house cleaner ones. Like, they're like sponsored by Scrub Daddy. Oh, that's the dream right there.
That is an ideal partnership.
To just have Scrub Daddy just sending you
the pink stuff, the scrubs, yeah,
endless amounts of smiley faces.
Absolutely,
that's what I want.
Yes, cheer always. Even while cleaning.
Yeah.
But then I also got this other gadget. It's like a vacuum squeegee. So then I'll like go through and soap, water, vinegar, all the glass surfaces. So like my glass shower, stuff like that. And then the squeegee has like a vestibule that like sucks in the water. And so you turn it on and it sounds like a hairdryer, honestly.
What?
And you go through and you squeegee down and it doesn't leave a single streak. It just sucks all the water.
I've actually never been so inspired to go clean the bathroom.
It is phenomenal.
Good. I love that for me.
Yeah.
I love that for me.
You ended off with a good like...
Keep talking. Hit him with more inspiration.
Sweep and like wash. Also, I don't know how to use a mop. My mom always washed the floor on her hands and knees. So I always wash the floor on my hands and knees.
That's like a very ethnic thing to do though.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not mad about it because then the smell of Pine Sol closer to my nostrils. But
true.
I
just get right up in there.
Finish it off with that. Everything is just sparkly. Everything is fresh. And then you put on your essential oil diffuser to top everything off. And
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then you have like lavender and eucalyptus on lavender and eucalyptus.
Yeah. I love it. What do you, is yours similar to me?
Good.
Like,
I mean, I don't have all the gadgets.
Oh yeah. You need some gadgets.
We about to get them though.
I feel like now I need
Amazon
the gadgets.
Amazon pops off because they're not even that expensive. I will literally send you links.
Do it.
I will. Because guys, it changed my life. I was like,
I want a remote spinning brush thing.
And you could charge it with the same thing you charge your phone with. So it's so easy.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, it makes
this
cleaning
is life-changing information.
So much fun. The only thing I still need to get, I want to get one of those steam things that you could use to clean the grout. I cannot wait to see that grout. I'm sorry, colorism. I can't wait to see it lift 2 or 3 shades. I'm like, it's gonna be great.
No, it's true. And then the people who like get it in there with like the toothbrush.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
So good.
I love filling Ziploc bags with vinegar and like tying them around all the faucet heads so that everything just gets cleared out and the water just runs so soft and smooth.
You know, I've never done that.
Oh, you have to.
Oh, now I want to do that.
You have to. And I mean, I know for us, because we like, you know, we're in the country. So like we have well water. And while everything is filtered, it's just that it builds up calcium.
There's a lot of, yeah.
And so, oh my gosh, it's amazing when you do that. You're like,
I'm so inspired.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. No, I don't. Okay, cleaning products wise, I use pretty much all the same kind of stuff.
Yes.
But I don't have like the spinny brush thing. So like when I clean the shower and stuff, I have like an actual like one of those like scrub brush things.
Yes,
you know?
Yes.
And I use that.
Sometimes some elbow grease is good.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Yeah. I use that.
Work, but
I don't use cloths.
You don't use microfiber cloths?
When I'm cleaning the bathroom, no.
Wait, what do you do?
Paper towel. Okay, I realize that maybe that's not the most like eco-friendly, whatever. But to me, it's the bathroom.
Yeah, but I feel
like I got it. Like it's done. Like one and done. I don't want to like reuse it after. That feels weird to me. Just like,
I mean, everything gets a hefty bleach after, and like
I can't do it.
It's its own load. All this because I feel like, to me, if I'm using paper towel, I feel like I can't scrub as well.
No, I scrub first.
I know, but like I just like to give everything like I don't know how to explain it. But then everything goes in its own separate wash based on color, what gets bleached, what doesn't, and then something else gets run before any clothes go in there. I have a whole long process, but it's fabulous.
You should come up with like an ebook. How to clean like Shayna.
I'm crying.
Okay, wait, do you feel like...
What?
No, wait, I'm not trying to bang it around back, but do you feel like the way that you clean is like because you actually like genuinely want to clean it that way? Or do you feel like the extent to which you clean like that is like a symptom of like the unwell?
Is it maladaptive, are you asking?
Yeah. Is that you picking?
I will say, like, I get a genuine satisfaction in when things are very clean and people can come into the space and just feel like,
I agree with that.
So clean.
I agree with that.
But
100%.
I also have a lot of fear when it comes to, like, I at the drop of a hat can just decide, ew, that's dirty. I don't think I could ever touch it again. Like I can get like that very quickly.
Like never again. Like even if you cleaned it, just never again.
Like I have not showered in. So my brother and I share a bathroom. My parents, obviously, their ensuite is in their bedroom.
Right.
Our bathtub, it's like a bathtub shower combo. I can't use it. I haven't showered in there in years.
Really?
I can't. I'm so terrified of shower curtains, first of all. Like they genuinely terrify me.
I know about your thing with shower curtains. Yes.
Oh, I have a really bad problem with shower curtains. And
you know what's so weird? I think about that often, actually.
Really?
I don't know why, but sometimes I'll get in the shower and I'll pull like the shower curtain close because I don't love them either.
And you'll think of me.
And I literally think of you.
Yeah, it's a problem. And I know this is the one thing I don't practice what I preach because I understand that exposure would help me. But it's the fact that I have panic attacks and it's just like, I just want to shower. I really don't want to have a panic attack right now. I will challenge myself with everything else, but that is just like my one thing where I'm like,
So let me pee. Why can't I pee then?
Because I think it's also unhealthy for your bladder and I'm concerned for you when you hit your elderly years. Like when you have your aging glow up, this is not going to affect me. That's going to affect you.
But what about you when you want to shower and you have to have like your PSW come over and help you shower?
Honestly, showering, my mom always says this. My mom's a nurse. She's always like, if you ever end up sending me to a nursing home, tell them showers only, not baths, because the bathtubs in those places are nasty. And so I also agree with that. So the PSW can help me out in the shower. Case in point. That's a wrap. We are so off topic.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
Justice for my bladder. That's all I want to say.
No, Pri, what you're not understanding is I am trying to give you justice for your bladder. I'm trying to help with your bladder. I'm here. Auntie Shayna is here for your bladder.
What a line. I am trying to give you justice for your bladder. Lord help me. Okay, what's yours? What's your
Yeah. It's the way we can get sidetracked. So I was kind of, wait, so yours is just like that you enjoyed that cleaning process.
Oh,
you got
right.
things
Did I
done.
never even finish my story? Okay.
That.
So I caught this, wind of motivation.
Yes.
So I got some spring cleaning done, which felt really good. And I didn't get everything done that I wanted to when the motivation like first hit me.
Yeah.
Because, like you feel invincible in that moment.
Yeah.
Like when the motivation first hits, like absolutely. I can do
all things.
All things.
Through Christ who strengthened me.
But not even. I have the strength. I feel like I can do it all right now in this moment. The motivation is so strong.
Yeah.
So I didn't get everything done that I wanted to.
Okay.
But it was because it was like a time thing and it just got like really late and I realized that like I hadn't eaten yet,
Oh.
It wasn't like what usually happens where motivation hits and then you start something and then you get like halfway into it and then you're just sitting in a pile of what was your motivation and you're like, this is the end. This is as far as I go. Yeah. So that didn't happen, which was good.
I'm really proud of you for that. That's exciting.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. Okay, mine. I feel as though I had kind of a slow week in terms of things happening. Like it was busy, but busy just with work and like everything else kind of just had to pause. But I got heavily called out in my quiet time.
Okay.
Like the Holy Spirit said, you pay attention. It was.
Ouch.
So I'm studying the book of Romans right now.
Mm-hmm.
And
to Roman Empire.
Yes, the book of Romans is my Roman Empire.
Mm-hmm.
The book of Romans has bars, by the way. It's good. And anyway, so I was in chapter 9. I wrote down the verse, actually. I'm going to read it real quick. It was Romans chapter 9, verses 20 to 21. And it says, who are you, a mere human being, to argue with God? Should the thing that was...
Sorry, wait. The first, you couldn't have gone any further. Just who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Well, that
and I would have been like,
you're like, fair.
Stop right there. That's enough for today. Thank you.
Well, it's giving, you know how in Job, when God literally says to him, stand up and fight like a man. Like, where were you when I formed the world? Pop off, God. Okay. So either way, who are you, a mere human being, to argue with God? Should the thing that was created say to the one who created it, why have you made me like this? And then verse 21, when a potter makes jars out of clay, doesn't he have the right to use the same lump of clay to make one jar for decoration and another to throw garbage into? Some other versions say to cook beans in. Like, basically one for storage and one for decoration.
One for the beans, one for the garbage.
Yeah, like honestly,
either
that
or.
part had me cackling because I read like 3 different versions and they all.
That's like a really
it
big
was so funny
difference.
But
What?
basically, like, who are you to say like, this potter has clay and they can't use their clay to make one thing really cool and fancy for this purpose and one thing for this practical purpose for the beans. Hashtag the beans. And so I felt very called out because I know I'm guilty of this. And I have struggled a lot in the past, still struggling with it now, where it's this idea of me coming to God and saying, Lord, why am I like this? Why did you do this? I wish you had just made me like blah, blah, blah instead. Or I wish you had just let me blah, blah, blah. And I felt very called out because 1 is just ungrateful. And 2, I felt called out, but in a way where he was saying to me almost, what I'm asking you to do is so much easier than what you're currently doing. And so what I mean by that is, when I have those thoughts and God is saying like, leave it to me, like that's above your pay grade. What you're supposed to do, like leave my purpose or your purpose to me. I will show you what to do when the time is there. And when I really sat and absorbed that, I just felt so free in that. Like I don't have to be on my P's and Q's the whole time, always being like, okay, God, like what, why didn't you make me do this? Why am I like that? Yada, da, da, da. Like he knows what he's doing. He's got it under control. I just have to be here as that vessel and say, okay, do you want me for beans or do you want me for flowers? Like, what do you want? Like, I'm here. And I know it kind of sounds silly as I'm describing it, but it was a very big moment for me of just being like, how often am I asking God that? Like, why did you make me this way? And how does he actually feel about that? And how can I be different? And so I've decided as of Tuesday when I read that my goal is going to be to call myself out every single time I notice that I'm giving God that energy. And I'm saying like, why did you do this? Yada, da, da, da. And instead I'm going to try, and I'm not going to be good at it, but I'm going to try to just say, okay, I release that to you. That is your job, not mine. And try to sit in that freedom of that. And also know that when I do feel harshly towards myself, he made me like this for a reason. There's always room for growth. There's room for me to bloom into the person that he wants me to be. But I don't have to be that person immediately. And I hope I never get to that person because that would mean that I just get stagnant. Like I need to continue to evolve that person. So I think that was my BGP moment, if that, you know what I mean. Yeah.
Do you feel that way in relation to difficult things that you go through, or like hardships that you have, like about yourself?
Do I feel what in relation to
like why did I have to be this way kind of thing?
I feel it honestly in every area.
Okay.
I feel it when I'm trying to excel in a certain area and I maybe didn't quite hit the mark. I feel it when I get into a cycle of comparison and I'm looking around at the people around me and I'm like, well, they're doing this and they're doing that. Why aren't I? I get it when it comes to chronic illness and I'm looking around and I'm like, mentally, I have the energy for this. Physically, my body can't. Sorry. Why? And it's funny because I don't feel like I'm asking it in a vengeful, like, what the heck, God? But it's kind of like I don't understand. I just want you to help me understand. Like, am I doing something that's making me fall short? And that's where I realized the problem is. Like, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. Like, of course I'm going to fall short. Why am I so hung up on the fact that I'm falling short when I should be focusing on turning my attention to him and being open to what he wants me to do? Like, I've been placing so much of my identity in the I fell short part rather than placing my identity in who he says I am through his strength. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. No, I get that. Because I was going to ask, like, again, where do you think the line is, if that's even the right way to phrase it, between, like, you know, genuinely going through something that's hard, for example, having a chronic illness, right? Like, with that, using that as the example, like, what do you think is the point at which it's fair in those really difficult moments with whatever chronic illness to be like, this is really freaking hard, you know? Like, I'm really struggling with this. Like, how why did this have to be my thing?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Versus, what the heck, God? Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But those are two very different
I feel
energies.
like, yeah, but I feel like the one up until a certain point, like, is really fair to say, like, that's really hard, you know?
Yeah.
Like, why did this have to be my thing? Because, like, right now I'm, like, super not okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think your heart posture, this is going to be like a roundabout answer. But for me personally, I know when I've crossed over that line, depending on how my heart, like, I have to give myself heart checks a lot. And so I know that God actually wants to hear my questioning. He wants to hear me in my confusion. He wants me to ask him, like, and say, God, I don't understand what's going on. But the caveat there is I should say, and even though I don't get it, I trust you. I bless your name. Even if it doesn't work out the way I want, so be it, because you're still God and you're still good. When I realize I'm losing that tail end of that, that's how I know I've crossed over.
Gotcha.
And so I genuinely think that God is okay. Like, I used to think it wasn't okay for me to tell God I was upset. Genuinely. And I had a really hard time with that. Saying, God, I'm, like, genuinely frustrated right now and I don't get why you let this happen. But now I've realized I can do that as long as I'm still, like, at the end of it all, even if I don't get to it for a while. In the end, I'm like, but you know what, God? This is above me anyway. I don't have to get it. And that's, it's not fun. It's really uncomfortable and it's really, like, painful sometimes. But that's how I know personally. If I walk away from that without the resolution of, okay, but he's still God and he's got me, then I know I have to kind of pedal back. Be like, hey, God, about what I said earlier. Sorry. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that answer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I just know that, like, I don't want to, I just feel like I've heard so many people talk about, like, that kind of idea almost in a way that, like, I guess maybe kind of relates to, like, toxic positivity, maybe, in a way. Like, I can't express the fact that, like, you know, I'm really struggling with this, or, like, I'm in a lot of pain, or, like, this is really difficult, and, like, I don't understand why, you know, this has to be a part of my story. I just have to, like, you know, turn my pain into a whatever. Like, part of my story, and, like, thank you, Jesus, like, you're so good. You know what I mean? Like, I think, and, like, not acknowledging, like, the genuine underlying hardship of it.
Yes. And I think that's what crosses you over from genuine surrender to toxic positivity is first acknowledging, God, this hurts. But even if you don't come through in the way I expect you to, because I know you're going to come through, period. But even if you don't come through in the way I expect, I'm okay. Whereas toxic positivity is like, God, you're using this pain for so, like, whatever. Like, you're not acknowledging that you are in pain. And that's what he wants us to do. He wants us to acknowledge the emotions that we have. But toxic positivity is just like, yeah, well, this is happening, but it's okay. Like, praise God.
Yeah.
It's
like positive emotions only, no negative emotions.
Right.
Even though God made both.
Right.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, yeah, like, you know what? I'm going through this thing. It's really hard. I'm feeling really lost. But I thank God that he's holding my hand through it. Very not toxic positive anymore. It's positive. But that's the whole point of toxic. I was going to say toxic positivity. Tongue twister. That's the whole point of toxic positivity and why it's a problem is that you glaze past your emotions rather than addressing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It is very interesting.
That's cool though. That's a good, not easy, but that's a good BGP moment.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. The other video that I sent you.
Yes.
We need to talk about it.
Okay.
So
let's go.
For context, I found this video on Instagram.
Okay.
And then proceeded to like find literally 15 more all over TikTok.
Your FBI agent fed them to you, huh?
Truly. Either that or it's becoming a trend.
Okay.
Which I think is scarier.
Okay.
If it's becoming a trend.
Okay.
You know? Here's what it was. It was this girl, unironically, so completely serious, talking about how she does this and thinks that other like Christian girls should do this too, which is come up with a password. I can't even say it.
I'm sorry.
Seriously.
Did you catch your energy, Christian girls? I loved it. The sass. As though we're not Christian girls. Anyway.
No, but like.
Keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
That you should come up with a password or like a secret phrase, secret password, secret phrase, whatever, between you and God, that one day when a man comes along and basically gives you the secret phrase or the secret password, then you know that like that's your man from God. Send him. And he has the secret password to prove it.
Interesting.
So like y'all can like go ahead and get married with full assurance that like, yeah, the secret handshake, you know?
He's one of God's homies. A true MOG.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what were your thoughts?
I'm just really concerned.
Go deeper. Go deeper. Unpack.
Because why? You know what was the first
you need to give us
when
more
I
context.
saw that?
Yes.
When this was the first thing that like immediately crossed my head was, has the church and like Christian spaces done such a poor job of talking about relationships and preparing people to be in relationships and talking about how to like what to actually look for, like worthwhile things to look for in a person, that like we just are now at a point where we like really don't know what we're doing, so much to the point where like we're resorting to coming up with secret passwords.
So, okay, to reflect back to you to make sure I'm understanding. Are you saying that maybe the church hasn't done a good job of cultivating our discernment, and so now we feel like God has to give us like the actual like flashing sign? This is he. Is that what you mean? Like kind of?
Yes, I think that could be part of it.
Okay, so what's the other
But
part
I
of
mean
it?
like the church like specifically talking about relationships. Because I feel like if you have been in church for long enough, then you probably have picked up on the fact that for the most part, I cannot speak for every church.
Of course.
But like for the most part, I feel like generally speaking, the church has not done a good job of talking about relationships in a way that's like actually helpful. To like single people and talking about just like platonic, actually good, healthy friendships in general. And like emphasizing the importance of that, whether you're single or married or whatever it happens to be, just like platonic friendships in general. And then because of that, there's been this like emphasis on only talking about like marriage relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I feel like has created this weird like idolization of marriage.
Girl, that's a whole other topic. That is a whole topic.
And I feel like half the time when like marriage relationships are talked about, it's still not even talked about in actually a healthy, good, helpful way. And then on top of that, I feel like marriage relationships are talked about, but like how to get there isn't really talked about either.
Okay.
So like what are good things to look for in a person? You know, how to like date, I guess, you know? And then I guess like in that, you know, using like discernment and stuff like that. But I just feel like those things are talked about like so few and far between that, yeah, when my first thought when I saw that video was, oh my gosh, like the ball has been dropped so hard that like literally people are out here resorting to like secret passwords and like secret phrases to know if they should marry somebody or not.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I definitely
that was
see
the first thing that came to mind.
Yeah. And because from my perspective, right? Because I have seen a video like that. I've only seen one once. Oh, it was the one you sent me, actually. I was like, where did I see that again?
There are more. They're out there. I'm telling you.
They
I've
must be
seen
out there.
them.
But my first thought was genuinely, I was like, that's actually kind of cute. But I don't think I would do that at all. But I think the reason I loved it is because it gave me like bestie vibes, where it's like you and your bestie. I mean, you know, where we have like a secret code word or something like that. And the fact that that person wanted to bring God into it enough that they're like, hey, God, like you and I have this thing. But again, I still wouldn't do it, but I could appreciate her thought process. I didn't consider it as deeply in terms of that idea of where the church comes in and what was dropped. But I do think that there could be more education on, like you said, platonic relationships, on singleness, waiting well for marriage, on not idolizing marriage, and even just discussing relationship in the context of just it being relationship. Because I think a lot of the time we jump the gun and it's just marriage. And again, I can't speak to this. I would love to hear more about your opinions on it at some point. Where do you think the church did not properly prepare you for marriage? Because I'm sitting on the not married side. And so all I know is what they tell me. You know what I mean? But you having been in marriage for what, almost 3 years? It's like you will have picked up on things that were not talked about and that you're kind of like, dang, I wish somebody had said something else. Okay,
I'm curious. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Please.
I'm curious when you say that, like, you know, as a single person, like what you have heard talked about in relation to like relationships and marriage and stuff like that. What are those things?
Oh, that's a hard question, because I feel like it's just brought up all the time. First of all, I feel like it's brought up as a pinnacle. When you reach, 100%, you reach this level, and you're like almost holy enough for marriage, then there's a lot to work on within marriage, but like you're it now. And the reason I say that, I get that like
marriage is like the peak form of relationship that you could possibly be in,
right? Because like that's supposed to be the reflection of how Christ loved the church. So now you get it in the way that other people won't get the gospel. That's how it can be felt, right? But I think also on the single side, I think there's this misconception a lot of the time, and this might be going off topic a little bit, but tangents
go off,
where there's this idea of, if I can unlock how to wait well, I will have hacked God and my man is coming. If I can figure out how to be at this place where, God, I'm okay if it's just me and you, then ding dong, like, oh, he's here. Like, I think that there can be that undertone perpetuated where
like you have to stop wanting to be in a relationship in order
to get it,
in order for a relationship to come along.
Right. But inadvertently, rather than you actually taking that season of singleness for what it's for, which is to develop your relationship with God, to serve others, yada, 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 you're like, okay, if I do all these things really well, that's how I'm going to get to that pinnacle. Rather than you just taking it for what it is. And I'm in this season to glorify God, to learn about his identity towards me, to learn about what his purpose is for me, and whatever happens, happens. But we're not saying the whatever happens, happens part. I think I was at a place for a while. I feel like it was around my 26th birthday. I remember this very vividly because that was a whole year for me. But where I was kind of like, okay, if I am fully at that place where I don't feel like I need that, I just need me and God, then I'll be ready. The beautiful thing, and I think I'm lucky because I don't think that happens often, but the beautiful thing that happened for me was I genuinely then was kind of like, oh, like I think I actually am okay. Like I was it became less about if I can show God that I'm okay and that I'm ready, then he'll bring me him. But I like ended up just being kind of like, oh, okay, like I actually really like it like this. So whatever happens, happens. But do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think that the preparation that the church can give single people is not, here's how to be prepared to do your single season well and to glorify God in the beautiful position you're in. It's like, here's what to do to hook them. Here's what to do to now hop to that next step because we know none of you want to be here anyway. That's what I get.
Yeah, like singleness is described as like this like period in your life that you just have to get through.
Right. And so I think when it comes back to the video in question, it's that idea, if you're asking God, okay, I need a password. One, I wonder is it because you're like churning through the men and now you're getting confused? Is it because is it because you have been so hurt before that now you're scared? Is it because you feel like I have to make this happen as soon as possible and I can't mess up? So I need God to say 1,000,000% go for it, which I believe that God does. I've experienced God telling me to do things before, but at the end of the day, God also gives us free will. And God could have somebody for you and then still let you make the choice. Like the only person that didn't happen to was Adam and Eve. You know what I mean? Or, I mean, whatever happened that beginning stage. I don't know how the kids all figured that out, but you know, otherwise
we have questions.
Actually, I don't want to know. But yeah, I just think I see your point a lot as we're talking about it, where I think that there is a fear on the part of single individuals, single women, probably especially. I think we feel a lot of pressure where, okay, I have to make this decision as soon as possible. So I need the green light like now, because that means if she heard that password in a month, is she like, okay, that's a wrap. Like we're good to go.
Yeah.
And then what do we just throw all discernment out the window?
I
like
think
what happens?
Yeah. I think that is one of my, like, I guess biggest questions maybe with that whole idea, is that like logistically speaking, how does that work? You know?
Yeah.
And like, what active role then do you get to play in that process? Right? Because I think that like, I really could like dive into a can of worms with this, but like,
part 2 coming soon.
Yeah. Like, I think that, okay, how do I phrase this without like diving completely off the deep end?
Okay, maybe this is dangerous to say with you, but sometimes I tell people, say it messy first and then we'll collect.
Okay. Let me adjust. Okay, I feel like, and actually I don't even feel like I've seen it, like I know it's true, is that because relationships, specifically romantic and like marriage relationships in so many church settings have not been talked about in a healthy and helpful way, it inadvertently ends up allowing for the continuation of really toxic, unhealthy, and even abusive behaviors, and people getting themselves into situations that are like that. This is honestly actually a not so extreme example, but like, for example, women who find themselves in abusive marriages, right? And so much of the time, the resources that are given to women like that essentially say, you need to pray more. You just need to pray for him. This is an opportunity for you to grow in patience. You know, this is an opportunity for you to work on your character. You know, what do you think you might be doing that's like bringing this abusive behavior out in him, basically, right? Ew, gross. No to all of that. But I just, so as it relates, this is me putting it out messy.
Okay.
So as it relates to that video, if we're not talking in, again, church, Christian, whatever spaces, like practically about how to be in healthy romantic relationships, what does that look like? What are the characteristics of that? How do you find a good person? I feel like so much of the time the thing is like, you want to find someone that's on fire for Jesus. Well, what does that mean? What does that look like? Like, that's actually not entirely helpful. So if you're missing all of the practical stuff in that sense, and you've made up this like secret password, then again, what active role then do you get to play in the process of that relationship and deciding if that's the right thing for you, or a healthy or a good thing for you? Like, if a guy comes along and on the surface he seems like pretty good, and there's like some red flags, but you know, he's on fire for Jesus, and he comes up and, you know, whispers supercalifragilisticexpialidocious in your ear, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's the phrase. That's the phrase. Yeah, that's my man. I'm gonna marry him.
I'm gonna stick beside him.
Then,
okay.
Then do you know what I'm saying? Like, then what happens?
I do. What I would say,
or like your secret thing was like, he's gonna buy me a bouquet of pink roses.
Oh,
and
then the man comes along
and
give that easy of a password, though.
You should have read some of the comments.
Oh.
No, like, I'm telling you that this is a problem.
Because, okay,
this is not like a far-fetched thing.
You're like, alert.
No, literally, sound the alarm.
Sound the alarm.
The people need help. Like, justice for the girls.
It did seem like they were kids in the video, though.
Well,
that's part of the problem.
And okay, that's part
of the problem.
This is what I was going to say, kind of to that point a little bit, is I should hope that that person is recognizing that, you know, you don't come up with this password the day you meet the person. I think that there's a lot of seeking God in, like, is this okay? Yada, da, da, da. Like, that discernment, seeking God piece that should be happening. And then you get to a point where you're like, you know what? This is a really solid guy. But Lord, I want you to really guide me here. Like, that's what I'm hoping is happening.
Who has taught this young person on what constitutes a really solid guy?
Yes. And so I understand that that's part of that problem. But in the context of the video, I almost feel a little, I guess I feel a little protective of the person. Because again, I also feel like, kind of like to EJ's point, I feel like they're younger. And in that regard, I am genuinely so proud of them that they want to invite God into that process in the way that they know how.
I think, let me just put it out there that, like, this is not like a me blaming these girls for like putting this out there, as in like, you should know better, you're crazy for doing this.
No,
I think it's like, what is happening around you
success
that like you have been like, are now in a place where you feel like that's a good idea. I think that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But do you think they think it's legit though, or was it just like some weird, cute TikTok video?
No.
I think they thought
the
it
way
was
that
legit.
the way they be looking in the video is annoying. Like, you know, when they just look at the camera and like bite their lip.
Well, that's just TikTok face.
That's what I mean. So like, how legit is it actually?
Well, they want the views about Jesus to spread.
No, it was legit.
I
didn't do it for every single video, but a lot of the ones that I saw, I actually went to the person's page after, and like the vibe was consistent.
I mean, the cool thing about this is it's not above God. If God realizes that this is genuinely how this person understands how to do this, like, I am not putting it above God to be like, bet, secret password, you got it. So that's the cool thing. But I do think that I would love, and I'm hoping that somehow we can be a part of this, like, as a general statement for young women or for women in the church to really start discussing more openly, specifically, not only what you're looking for, but what you're not looking for. I think that what you're not looking for is actually a bigger piece than I think sometimes we realize. Because we could be like, okay, they do this, check. They do this, check. They do this, check. Perfect. He's the guy. But what are some things that he's not doing? Or what are some things that he's doing in a way that might not be helpful or might not be healthy? And we don't always get into that nitty gritty of it all. I think we're seeing a lot more conversation about it. Like, think about, I mean, Pastor Mike Todd, shout out to the OG, like his relationship goals series, for example. I think he actually did really start to lead that. Like, let's talk about this practically, guys.
I do think that one specifically was a good series.
Oh, I think so. I actually want to do it again. I haven't seen his new one because he did two. And then he has the book. But I think that we are seeing more in that way. But I think for women, it's so important in your small community and groups to also have those conversations. And not just say, okay, there's a guy, he's eligible, see if you can bag him, like, see if God's okay with it. I think sometimes that could, like, do you know what I mean? Like, sometimes we just get to like, alert, there's a boy. Okay, everyone, like, you know, and it's just because the guy's there doesn't mean anything. It's like, there is the prayer, there's the discernment, there is the, God, what would you have me do? And going through that process openly with that individual, if it ends up into dating or whatever that case is. But I do also think that there is that, okay, God, I need you to really direct me here. And for some people that might look like a password. For some people it might just be like, I need you to, like, Holy Spirit, speak, whatever that looks like. But I agree that there needs to be a lot more discussion on what practically we're looking for, what we're not looking for, and how to navigate in discernment with that.
Do you think people over spiritualize relationships?
Yes.
In what way? Like, what do you mean?
Like why do we need to ask God if it's okay to date somebody?
Really?
Yeah. If you're already walking with God. Like, for example, you, Shayna, you know if your mother would approve of a guy or not without asking her, correct?
Yeah, for the most part.
Why don't we treat God like that?
Here's the thing. I think to an extent we do. Because I think if you're asking God, show me a sign, I think you know. I think somewhere inside of you, you've seen that there's something wrong. Or like, if you're asking God for permission, it's because you have a doubt. But I think seeking the Lord doesn't always look like, okay, God, is this okay? Do I have your permission? Seeking the Lord is, help me to navigate my daily interactions with this person. Help me to like approach this in a spirit that is of you. Like things like that.
But
I don't think it's always like red light, green light.
Because I think there's a difference between help me navigate my just everyday versus I need you to say okay about this person specifically. I think that's weird. You have free will. I think we have a blueprint on how God feels about a lot of things called the Bible.
Yes.
And if you read it and you spend time with him, I don't think you need to ask him if he's okay with somebody or not. I think it'll be pretty evident based on your relationship with God.
I see what you're saying genuinely. Yeah.
And I agree with your point about the navigation.
Yeah.
But I don't think that equates to asking for permission. Because you probably ask for navigation for things that are not relationships.
Always.
Right?
Yeah.
So if that's just how you are with God, that'll just bleed into when relationship pops up too.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I mean, for me, for example, let's say a job opportunity came up. I would be like, Lord, I've seen this. My interest is piqued. I want to hear from you. Like, is this something that would be beneficial? Is this something I'm not like, at the end of the day, it's my choice. I'm not, and I could still, God could say, you know, I don't think that that's best for you right now. And I could still be like, okay, so I'm going to do it. Like, I still have that choice, but I think that it's important to bring him into your decision making, even though we know what he would have for us as a general statement. I think sometimes it's important to bring him into those nitty gritty things.
Interesting.
And again, it could be because I like that has been my practice, and I find it very helpful that I see it that way. You know what I mean?
You think that's a temperament thing?
Potentially. But I don't know, like,
because my relationship with God is just different than that. Like, it's not a every nitty gritty I have to ask for permission or.
But it doesn't feel like I'm asking for permission. And I'm having a hard time describing exactly what I'm doing. I feel like I'm inviting you into the situation, Lord. Like, that's how it feels. And so whether that be a job, a move, a man, Lord, I'm inviting you into this because I don't make moves without you. I already know what your standard is.
Just to be a little bit less like Christianese sounding about it.
What do you mean?
What does that mean?
I don't make moves without you?
No, like when you say like inviting God into a situation, what do you mean by that?
It's like us having a conversation about what we want to do for dinner. Like, I picture it as not like, okay, God, I'm like, let's go here. I'm like, okay, God, like, what should we do? Like, I don't know. I almost don't know how to explain it.
Interesting. Because I would be like, I know you like tacos, so I'm going to get tacos.
I don't know.
But I'm a guy, so maybe that's a guy thing. I don't know.
Like, I'm trying to think of another way to say inviting him into the situation. Again, and I know later tonight, I'm like, dang, I should have said da-da-da instead. Like, that would have made so much more sense. But inviting him into the situation is me actively surrendering constantly. So actively saying, I know what you would have me do. I know what your standards are. I know it, like, I know your standard is actually how I should phrase it. I know your standard. Just like you mentioned with my mom, like, I would know her standard. So with me knowing your standard, I just want to hold your hand as I'm doing this. Like, I know where I'm supposed to go, but I want us to walk like arm in arm. Like, I want us to just be buddies about the whole thing. And I think that's what I mean. Inviting him in is surrendering and letting him know that I'm open to, if you tell me, okay, well, like, we could walk straight that way, but I actually want to lead you around this pothole this way instead of going that way. Like, I pictured as walking arm in arm. So rather than me saying, okay, I know you're looking at me as I walk here, I'm like, hold my hand, Jesus. Like, that sounds so lame, but I don't know how else to explain it. I don't know
it
how
makes
else.
Sense. I get it. It makes sense. I just don't know if, well, I do know. I don't operate like that with God, personally.
I mean, I don't think everyone has to. Because your relationship with Jesus should look different than my relationship with Jesus.
And that's why I say, like, temperament, maybe.
It could be. I'm just very much so, like, I'm just very much so even with my family, I think I'm like this. I want to make this move. I'm going to be like, hey, mom and dad, like, come talk with me for a bit. I already know what I think is a good idea, but I want to hear your opinion. I want you to share with me. I want to hear your words of wisdom because you've done this stuff before. And so I want to hear from you. And I just want you to surround me and be with me so that like we're all in this together. So I'm going to make that decision that I already kind of thought I was going to, but I'm inviting you to share your input. whether I choose to accept that input or not is another situation entirely, but I'm inviting you into what I'm about to do so you can hear about it. And I'm letting you know that I'm open to hearing what you have to say about it.
So it's not like you're like actually like asking God for permission, so to speak. It's just like, I kind of already know like what you would think about the situation. So I'm just like going to consider you in my thought process.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm not going to cap. Sometimes I'm actually like, Lord, I don't actually know what to do because I know that the way I'm thinking is distorted in comparison to the way that you're thinking. And so I might think I know your standard, but I might be a little off. So I actually need you to tell me right now. I'm conflicted. Usually at the end of the day, it's not because God was being unclear. It's because all my human-ish was getting in the way. But there are times when I am actually like, God, please tell me left or right, like right now. But a lot of other times it's like, okay, God, I understand what you say in your word. I understand what you say about me. Let's talk about this as I go through my process. And I want you to match me step for step. Actually, I would like to be half a step behind you, please.
It makes me wonder if I'm wrong for not thinking that way. Because in theory, it's like, yeah, you should let God go before you. So am I doing something wrong? Because I don't. In the same way, at least.
But that's the thing.
I think that's the kicker right there, though. In the same way.
Does it look the same way?
Like for me, it's more like, okay, here's the plan. And now I'm the one that's executing. But I'm sticking to the plan that we came up with at the beginning. So when we get to like a checkpoint, then we reassess the plan. But every single little step, for me, it's not like a left, okay, now right, now, you know? It's more like, okay, what's the target? Now let's get to the target together.
I think it's same, but different. Like, you know what I mean?
But again, I grew up independent, so maybe that's just how it comes out in me.
Yeah, but that's why I think your question about like, is it temperament and personality? Like I think that that's like actually a fair thing to say.
I do as well.
Yeah. Because when I think about it, like your temperament and your personality determines the way that you have a friendship with somebody versus the way that somebody else has a friendship with that same person.
Yeah.
So why would it be any different?
And how how parents are with different kids.
Yeah, sure, that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. As it pertains
to the video,
to the password thing, though, I don't know.
I think if you have a password, cool. I just want you to not.
I just want to know why.
I want you to, well, not even that. I feel like I get why.
No, I want to know why.
I think genuinely people, especially when it comes to relationships, because people are out here trying to get a kingdom marriage. That's like the term. Like, I want this kingdom relationship, this kingdom marriage, like whatever.
What does that mean?
To my understanding, I honestly haven't looked into exactly what people mean, but I
wonder
think
if those people could actually describe
what it is. I get the vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like, I get the vibe of it, but it's kind of this idea that this is your here on earth eternity type of person. You're doing life together. You're doing ministry together. Like, you are both coming together for the purpose of the kingdom and the gospel glorified through your marriage. That's how I understand it.
You know what I see it as? Especially for the people who I think are in that situation who might just be like throwing around that term because it sounds like
it sounds nice.
The thing that you're like supposed to say, I guess.
It makes you sound like you're like a 10 out of 10 couple for starters.
But I think that's what it is. And I honestly think that it probably could be, I don't know, ties in with the whole idolization of marriage thing. Because like 9 times out of 10, when I hear people throwing around that term as like that being what they want, I want a kingdom marriage, whatever, that sounds to me like they're just saying that they want to be the Christian version of a power couple.
Interesting.
That's what I hear it as. I want us to be a Christian power couple. And if that's the case, why? What does it look like? Why do you want to be that?
What does that even mean?
I genuinely think, somebody write this down, bro. Like, I think we actually need to have that as an entire other, like, I don't think we would do that conversation justice right now.
Yeah.
I want to dive into that. I think that's very fascinating. Mm-hmm. And because then I want to talk about what is a power couple in general? Like, what does society deem that as?
Yeah.
What is the Christian equivalent? And does that now mean that your ministries become an idol in your life?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
To me, that speaks to the idolization of marriage.
Yeah.
When I hear people throwing it around like that.
Yeah.
Because that is the
buzz phrase
vibe that they're giving when they say that.
Yeah.
My kingdom marriage. Like,
yeah. I mean,
that's what I hear.
On the one hand, I do think it can have this wholesome element where it's like, this is the person that I'm seeking the kingdom with. Mm-hmm. And like, that's what I hope.
But that's very different though.
Yes.
Very
and so
different.
Again, I think this comes down to like, just what your perception of it is, what your actual goal in a marriage is. Mm-hmm. All of those types of things.
What you think marriage actually is.
What you think marriage is even. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But wait, there was something I was saying.
Sorry.
Oh, no. Oh my gosh. No, don't say sorry ever. Unless it's necessary.
Do you hear that?
I'm remembering that.
EJ?
I'm never saying sorry.
I've never saying sorry. She said it to me, not you.
You don't even say sorry now.
What?
Gotcha.
Guys, they're having a
fake
domestic. News. Not fake news. Okay. I was going to say that I do, like I said, I believe that if somebody is coming to God in sincerity and that's how they understand seeking God. Oh, this is what it was. Now I remember. Sorry, let me recollect myself. I think that people are so fearful because what we see in the world around us of having a marriage that fails or having, an abusive relationship, having, an infiltrated by sin type of situation, which is already going to happen because we're sinful. But like,
yeah, I was going to say it already is.
But to the extreme, I think people are very fearful of that. I think young women are very fearful of that. And we also feel a lot of pressure because the clock is ticking. You know how many times people have told me like, you don't have much time left, by the way, like the ovaries, like, so I'm saying
people are insane.
Yes. But before we get
just
deterred,
wild.
Before we get deterred, I'm saying that I think that there's a lot of pressure where I have to figure this out and I have to figure it out quick. If I think I've done my season of singleness well and I feel like I'm ready for a relationship, God didn't say that, by the way, but you think you've done your season of singleness well. That might be, and for some people, it's not even I did my season of singleness well. It's just like, Lord, I don't want to end up in that position. I really don't. And so I need you to just be crystal clear because I know I'm going to mess up. Like, I think genuinely for some people, it comes from that place. And I think just to summarize what we're saying, what we would like to see and what we hope we can help be change makers in the process of is talking more about what practically we're looking for, what practically we're not looking for, how to actually engage your discernment, and like how to seek the Lord in such a way that you're also walking by faith. Because you saying directly to God, okay, I just need you to tell me A or B, we're like, God also wants you to take a step of faith. And I think what I've learned is when you take that first step of faith, when you are asking God for a sign, sometimes he says, I'm not doing anything until you move. I have had him say that to me. And then it's like, once I do, then he's like, okay, now here, I'll lay it out, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But do you know what I'm trying to say?
Which
here?
Is fair.
I'm
yes,
losing my
I
track,
do.
But
no, I do. I think.
Talking to Mike.
Sorry. I think I'm just going to go ahead and say it.
Go ahead.
But if you are of the mindset currently that in order to know if you should marry somebody or not, or at least like be in a relationship with that as the goal, that you need a secret password or a secret phrase, you're not ready to be in that relationship. That's my hot take.
It kind of says, God, do all the work. I have no intention of assessing you, your character, any of these things that I know are important.
Or I don't know how to.
Yeah.
Or I don't know what I'm looking for, so I don't know how to.
So just God, just give me a sign, do all the work.
Let him walk up and say supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Like,
yeah.
It's weird.
Well,
weird vibes.
I think it's walking by sight and not by faith, slightly. Not in a malicious way. I almost feel bad saying that because I truly believe that that's not the intention of any person who has come up with the password. I don't. But I see what you guys are saying.
Can people let us know? I'm not trying to be mean. If you have a
As an
password,
aside,
can you
don't tell us what it is.
tell us?
Don't tell us what the password
No,
is.
don't tell us what the, oh
But
my
tell
gosh.
us, tell us your heart behind it.
But if you do,
give us your hot
can you
take.
tell me why? I just want to understand.
But haven't
Because I'm
you...
open to the fact that I'm wrong. But as of right now, that's what I think.
See, this gives me Gideon energy. I feel like we're beating... But I just was one more thing.
You're just like putting out your face.
And another thing. Yeah, I think sometimes there is a place for that. There's a place where you're just moving in faith. Though? And there's a place where God is like, okay, try me. Like, and you're like, okay.
I don't think that's the same thing.
But I think, I'm not saying it exactly is, but I'm just saying that I understand how somebody that could be their Gideon type energy, where it's like, this is my fleece. I'm going to lay it out. We'll see if you make it wet or dry.
I think
that's the same thing.
I think if all the people have Shayna energy, then I agree with you.
Why do I feel insulted? I'm like, is that a bad thing?
No, wait, can you explain what you mean? Yeah, no, there's a compliment, but can you explain what you mean?
Okay, because I thought it was bad.
Like, I think your heart, if your heart was behind the TikTok, whatever,
yeah,
I think then it comes from a genuine place of what you're talking about.
Okay.
But I think, I don't know, I would guess most people are not like you. But that's a good thing because your relationship with God is very unique, right? And it's very, I don't know how to describe the word I'm thinking. Like the way, the temperament you have fits how you're describing it.
Okay.
But I don't think a lot of people have your temperament.
I
don't think majority have your temperament and perspective.
I would say maturity as well.
Which would lead me to believe
maturity. I thought you said majority.
No, maturity.
Oh.
I said majority.
Oh, I'm getting confused, y'all.
I think majority wouldn't have your temperament, which would lead me to guess that when they make a password, it's not from a place of, test. Like, I think it's more of a.
You don't think it's as much inviting God into the situation?
No, I think it's idealistic and and trendy.
Yes, I think. Okay, I didn't say this before, but here's another one of my thoughts. I was saying how I went to like some of these people's actual pages and like scrolled through their content, and I was saying that like that idea just kind of tracks with like what I'm seeing.
Okay,
and it's a lot of the content was very like lifestyle girly, like lifestyle girly, like romanticize your life kind of thing.
God as an accessory.
And it wasn't even that. But I think the reason why I say it tracks is because it fit into the like romanticize your life, it's fun kind of idea. And I think that come up with a secret password with God was coming from that. And it was displaying a very romanticized idea and understanding of God. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah. And I think that's why I say it's concerning, because it's not about, like you said, like actually like an exercise in faith, or discernment, or, said with an understanding of like knowledge of like what it takes to be in a healthy relationship and like how to find somebody, like all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? It just very much read like this person has a romanticized understanding of God. Does that make sense?
I think so.
And I think that is part of the reason why it was concerning.
Okay. So I guess just to wrap that up then, my question is, what do you think is, and more just because I want you to explicitly say it, like, what do you think is the danger of that romanticized version of God, and what should it, like, what's the alternative? Like, what's the romanticized version versus the genuine version of your view of God? Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, what are some, like, what are the red flags that this is maybe erring to romanticization of God versus I am walking in the truth of who God is and who he displays he is in his character in the understanding of the context of my life?
okay, I don't know if I'm like fully answering your question,
That's
but
okay.
it just felt very like it's very fluffy. Like it's very surfacey.
Like, I guess I'm asking, what did you want to see instead?
I don't think it's that I wanted to see anything. It's someone else's life. Like I don't.
Yeah. But I mean, like
you don't owe me anything. I don't want to see anything specifically from you. Like,
yeah. No, I get that. But I mean, let's say I, us being very close friends and me trusting you as somebody like to call me out in my life. Like I trust you with that.
mm-hmm.
And you saw me walking around with that very like fluffy, romanticized idea of who God is and what that means for my life. Like, what would your correction be? Or what would you not like come check me, but like, what would you say to me in love about that? Do you know what I mean? Because even with us having these conversations, it's one thing to call it out and another because sometimes it's like, dang, like, what if I am like that? Like, what should I do?
Yeah, it's not helpful to just
call it out and be like,
there.
yeah, this is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I think that this is a very good conversation, but I'm an action item queen. So I would want to know just
what are my next steps?
Yeah. Like, what would you say to me?
I don't know. I don't know how to word it. But I think I would just wonder, like, or maybe I would ask maybe.
Yes.
Why is it that you feel like you need to rely on this secret password or secret phrase for confirmation instead of using your own wisdom, your own judgment, your own discernment, and not like solely relying on yourself. Like I'm talking like God-given here, like you said, include him in your thought process kind of thing. To come to those answers or to come to those conclusions. Like, what is it that you feel like you're lacking to be able to go through that process actively that you then need to rely on this like secret password? Does that answer it? Maybe
not quite.
Like, is it that you don't trust your
but I shouldn't
judgment? Because no, okay, I'm not saying,
I'm gonna let you finish.
Again, I'm gonna let you finish. No, I'm not saying, like, again, I'm not saying that you have to, like, me, myself, and I figure this out within my own
strength and
brain.
reasoning.
Yeah. Like, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying, like, it's okay. It's like you said, you would know without even talking to your mom if she would approve of somebody or not, right? Because you know her.
Or at least certain aspects of them. For the most part, yes. Sorry. I'll keep it simple. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm like
because you know her.
Yes.
Right? So you would know even before you like bring somebody home, 99% sure.
The general vibe.
You know if this is going to be like a green light or like hard pass, right? So I think I'm saying, do you feel like, maybe I would ask, do you feel like
sorry, this is getting terrible. We're just asking questions.
I know.
It's like Jesus. He's like,
and it's just me like struggling with my words.
Answer my question. No, it's okay.
Do you feel like your relationship with God is at a point where you know whether he would say green light or hard pass to somebody?
I think
or like
sorry.
No, sorry. I'm really trying to like
sorry.
process
I'm gonna
out
shut
loud
up now. Keep
Why?
going. Keep talking. Talk.
You look way too apologetic right now.
You literally just said 5 minutes ago, don't say sorry.
You said never apologize.
Yeah.
Oh, but we all know that doesn't apply to me.
What's good for the gander?
Not good for the goose. Yeah, either that or like, is it that you don't trust your own judgment or your own discernment? And again, not doing it in your own strength kind of a way, but like you just like really don't know what to think about it, or like I don't know. I think that's my question. I just want to know like, why. This is not helpful now. I'm not answering your question anymore. But like, why? I just want to know why.
But what advice would you give them, though?
I don't understand. Do you know that VeggieTales song?
Yeah.
Tell me why. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Or show me your hand. Tell me why, because I can't see.
Who sings that?
Esther.
What vegetable sings that? Oh,
she had her own special. She was not part of the regular cast.
No,
she was a guest star. Lord forgive me. Let's get back on track. Because you're saying
maybe
why.
Ask yourself why.
You're saying why.
Maybe ask yourself why. You feel like you need to rely on having a password. Like where's that coming from?
But see, here's where I think we do have very different opinions on this, even though we have the same undercurrent or undertone of what we believe is to be true. The lens through which we're viewing this is very different. Because in my mind, I'm seeing that girl who has made a password, like, and you're saying why? But because you're saying, why can't you trust? And I know you're saying like, yes, of course with God, but why can't you trust your own judgment, your own understanding? I would say that maybe that girl is like, the Bible tells me not to lean on my own understanding, like, and to like seek him out, acknowledge him in all my ways. And so by me doing this, that is how I'm doing it. Maybe their way of seeking just looks different than yours. Like out of my peripheral, I'm seeing EJ hard pass shaking his head. But again,
no.
I can only say this.
I see what you're saying, but I don't think
like,
that's it.
Like I can only say this from how I would do it. Like, do you know what I mean? And I do think that we have to, faith without works is dead. So we have to step out in faith and say, God, I'm going into this situation. I'm inviting you, but I also recognize that you need me to stay alert. You need me to be obedient. You need me to be discerning. You need me to follow your will and your plan, all these different things. So I'm going into the situation with that. And again, I have already said I wouldn't have a password, right? Personally.
Why?
Because I think it'll be something to one, what if they say it, but there are things about them, the math isn't mathing. And I'm just going to be like,
I think that's part of my problem though. I feel like the whole password thing actually puts you in a situation where you're doing the whole faith without works thing. You're saying that you have all this faith, but without works. Where's the works? As in like, where is your own, what active role are you playing in this process? I feel like it puts that person in a very passenger seat role in their own life. And again, I'm not saying like, don't come for me. I'm not saying that like, you know, you need to like be a control freak about every aspect of your life. Like that's not
coming. They're coming.
Don't
for you.
come for me. Leave me alone. It's not what I'm saying. Don't even say it's what I'm saying because it's not what I'm saying.
Yes.
But like, yeah, I just feel like that puts you in a very like passive passenger seat, like throw your hands up and just like let it happen to you, however life happens, kind of away.
Yeah.
Do we believe that by their fruits you'll know them?
I mean, the Bible says it.
Okay. Do we also believe that although our individual relationships with God can be different,
yes,
that God is still God?
Absolutely.
I just feel like when the password is your like
deciding factor,
if it's not a joke and you legit want to create a password with God to be the deciding factor on how you know if somebody is your husband, that doesn't equate to somebody who knows God. Because I feel like
that's what I think I'm saying. That's what I was trying to say before.
If God is the same, and by their fruits you'll know them, and if we're reading our word to understand who God is, I think we'll see that he never operates like that. And that's why I say, like, you'll know, like when that moment comes and like there's a person presented in front of you, and now you're questioning. Your questions to God are not going to be, is this the person? It's going to be, God, reveal to me characteristics about this person that I can then filter through the lens of what I know, of how I know you to feel through the scripture, right? Those are the kind of questions you ask when that moment comes. It's not, give me a password and let me do no work involved.
Yeah, like think critically, analyze.
I think this whole time, though, I've been viewing the password as confirmation rather than the deciding factor. Like somebody might, and again, I keep prefacing this with like, I still don't, like a password just wouldn't be for me. But I don't hear that and expect that people are, like my hope is that they're saying, God, like, I've invited you in. We're doing the work together. I'm being alert. I'm guarding my heart. I'm doing all these different things. Whatever.
I'm going to read you the exact wording.
And then I'm seeing the fruit from that person and it looks good. Like things are good. But again, because I'm inviting you in, like I welcome your confirmation.
Yeah, no, that's not what's being said.
Okay.
I'm going to read you the exact
that's
wording.
Just how, again, that's how I've been processing it.
Okay. The exact wording that this specific video said. And again, they were all a version of this specifically. Okay. This says, she wrote, single girlies, create a secret password / phrase with God that your future boyfriend / husband will say to you, and you'll know that that's the one God sent for you.
I don't even think God sends your husband for you.
That's a whole other thing.
I
feel like
people in proximity
that then applies
to you.
the version or the idea that like,
but we have free will.
There's the one.
That's what I mean. So the password just doesn't go with the character of the God that somebody who knows God is. Like, you know what I mean? So I just feel like it just doesn't. The fruit is not fruiting.
The fruits are looping. They're not fruiting.
Yeah.
I loved that. The fruit is not fruiting.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that like that implies what you just said.
Laziness.
It feels lazy. It feels passive. I think it also implies that like, yeah, I think it weirdly takes the element of like free will out of it. And I think in that then comes with what I was saying before about like play an active role in your life here. Think critically, use discernment, like think for yourself kind of thing. But I also think that it kind of implies the idea of like the one, you know, like that's the one that God sent for you. And maybe this is a matter of personal opinion in this case, but I don't think there is such a thing as the one.
Yeah. See, okay. I feel like we're starting to like really just spin off into a million directions.
Are we though?
And so
really?
maybe I should save this because one, what was
a little bit? I would wrap it up soon.
Yeah, because one, what I was gonna say is to answer my own question that I had originally posed to you. I suppose what I might say to that girl who's in that situation, yes, it is always okay to be looking for confirmation from God.
Sure.
But I don't want you to rely on that one thing when God has given us so many other beautiful ways to see him working and moving. And so in that situation, when you are looking for the person that you believe God has created that you would be so beautiful together, I'm going to say, like, be praying about it, be watchful, be open to things, being open to being observant. Being open to being observant, being open to observing what they're doing, observing how you are in the situation and not just waiting and bypassing things that might be concerning because they gave you a phrase or a password. But I'm proud of you for wanting to include God in that situation.
You're so nice.
No, I agree. I think that you're right. It should be acknowledged that the heart behind that maybe in the right place.
I think it's beautiful
and
to want to be with the
that's
person,
a good thing.
A man of God who I know I don't think the one is a thing, but I do think that God can have a person where he's like, if Shayna opens this blessing box right here, I'm going to be so hype. I believe God is in heaven thinking like they have the choice, but I just know if they choose that, like, oh my gosh, it's going to be hype.
I agree.
I so strongly believe that. And so that's why I'm saying I think that God could have somebody that he's like, I would so love to see. Like, God ships us. I think God has somebody who's like, I ship them so hard. I
don't think that there's
God
like,
is not like
one person, one box,
person.
and if you don't open that box, then
you're done for life.
That's it.
I don't think God's like, well, yeah, like, sorry
Missed
about it. No, because you know what? He's too good of a God to do that. He's too loving. He's too merciful. It would hurt him inside to be like, oh, she didn't make the wrong choice. No more blessings for you. Goodbye, Glen Coco. Like, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't ever.
I think sometimes you might have a person for you,
Mm-hmm.
or the best person for you, depending on the stage you're at in your relationship with God.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, there could be somebody that you could be with, but you haven't gotten over certain issues in your life. Like, let's say, for example, you have issues with tone. Okay. Okay.
Call each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have issues with tone, right?
Uh-huh.
You not being able to deal with that issue affects the perfect person for you in this state, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you overcoming the tone issue, all of a sudden there's another prospect that could be, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the different people that can come into your proximity, I think it depends on your relationship with God and your own walk,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I say work is involved.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I think also too, like, then what happens when you have people who are like on their second marriage or something?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what happens if like
You're about to spiral into something.
I just
maybe let me
We've unpacked it. We've
sure
unpacked it.
yeah. And
this is
but I'm just smiling because I'm just something came to my mind is just that one, God doesn't give us more than we can bear, and I think sometimes we think that that's in terms of like persecution and hard things. But if God can tell you're not ready for a blessing, he knows you can't bear it yet. He's not going to give it to you. Like sometimes I think too, that's why people are like in your waiting season. He's like, I'm just refining you for a bit. Hold on tight. And then he also does immeasurably more. Immeasurably. My enunciation is out the window right now. He's doing like, he has so much big things for us that I don't know how to explain this right now. I'm just very excited. God is cool. He's actually so cool. Like I'm freaking out right now. Oh, he's awesome. I just think that how do I want to phrase this? I don't know how to phrase it. I just know that if you are submitting yourself to his leading, meaning you're saying, God, like, I'm willing to do what you would have me do. Whether that look like EJ, your process where you're having those checkpoints with God and then you're moving in the purpose that he's already given you, or me where I'm like, can we hold hands a little bit? Like, and like step by step, I'm like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Regardless of what it is, like, it's just, if you were allowing him in and whatever that looks like, it's going to be so good.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you mess up along the way, he's still going to make it good somehow.
Mm-hmm.
And so whether somebody starts off with that password and then they mature and then they're like, you know what? That probably wasn't the best way to go about this. God hasn't been like, sorry, babe. Like, that's on you now.
But God has a sense of humor, right?
He totally does.
So like you mature in that, and then the guy that you choose through your discernment and all your character growth and all that stuff, all of a sudden he says the password.
Yes.
And then you can laugh about it with God.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I could totally picture that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think it's worth saying that like God wants you to play an active role in your own life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if you're not, then like the whole, I want to be growing. I want to,
we're not robots.
Get better. I want to improve. I want to, heal, whatever. All of those things require you to do, you to think, you to work at it, whatever happens to be. Like, you have to play an active role in your own life. God wants that. This isn't just like, God, you just like figure it out and let me know. I'm just going to like sit back here and wait. Like, that's not how it works.
We're supposed to be watchful and wait. That means you're doing things. That means you're like active, like you said. No, I love that.
Yeah.
We unpacked
Okay,
it.
I think that's
my
done.
thoughts.
What's next?
Okay, boy
Stop.
briefs.
Okay,
My favorite part of this show.
EJ, it's your time to shine. Twinsies. Twin, what have you been? Okay, we'll keep this one. Can we ever keep anything short and sweet? We're going to try.
Let's not speak too soon.
Yeah. I saw this TikTok, and it's always going to be TikTok. But I saw this TikTok.
Where all good train of thought start.
Yeah. As long as you're not saying, I researched, and secretly your source is TikTok, and jail.
Immediately. Straight to jail.
But it's giving guilty, Your Honor. I think, I saw a video, and a girl was saying how she never gets approached by men when she's looking good, but they be coming in droves when she's in her Adam Sandler era. And I thought that was rather interesting. All the comments, people were saying, yeah, oh my goodness, I agree. Like, definitely same for me too. And I just thought that was interesting because actually last week you mentioned, and I know we hear this all the time, like men are visual creatures. And so I'm thinking, why is it that they're...
What?
Why?
No, sorry. I had to roll my eyes because the narrative is always that men are visual creatures and that women don't care about.
Well, it shouldn't be an excuse.
But anyway,
it shouldn't be an excuse for poor behavior, but at the heart of it, I guess they are.
Ignore my facial expressions.
Either
Carry
way,
on.
And the sounds. No kidding.
Yeah, right.
At the heart of it, I guess I was wondering, why do you think that that's the case? Like, is a man likely to approach a woman when she's in her Adam Sandler era and not her hot girl era? Or, and also, and also why, when you're visual, so you would probably appreciate how she looked in her hot girl era. You know what I mean?
Can I have clarity on what an Adam Sandler era is?
Absolutely. Have you seen our man Adam Sandler? What does he dress like?
It's the way I look when I come home from work and get changed. He looks
like he's never made a movie in his life. He looks like there's no money in the bank.
He looks like he saves his money.
It's giving shabby chic, but not shabby chic. It's giving just shabby.
No, it's giving Walmartian.
Oh. Like he gets up and you could tell he is so confident because he does not give a single hoot what people think how he looks going out the door. And so for a girl in her Adam Sandler era, we're talking like the sweatpants that have like a rip in them and maybe a stain, the over baggy t-shirt, the hair askew, your eyebrows are like all messed up,
makeup,
like not a lick of makeup. Like you look like you just rolled out of bed and you're fleeing for your life into Walmart.
Okay.
You look rough and tough.
Like the way you look at like 10 o'clock at night.
You look homeless.
When you just really like realize that you're hungry. And so you run into like Walmart or whatever really quick to like get snacks. But like you peeled yourself off the couch.
You very
to go.
Clearly did not expect to see anyone that you knew. A
single soul.
Okay.
Especially that you knew.
Okay.
Oh, never know when that
like this is my no one can see me look.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm following.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, we just went in on Adam Sandler. Sorry.
So
we love you, Adam.
Love him.
So the question
Fashion inspiration.
So the question is, why
do you think it's true?
Do I think it's true that guys,
and if so, why,
are more likely to approach women who are in their Adam Sandler vibes versus their
hot girl era,
hot girl vibes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like they look put together, they're cute.
And if so, why or why not?
Exactly.
Do I think it's true? 50-50. Could be yes, could be no. I think there's some guys who it could be true for and some guys who it wouldn't. Personally, it wouldn't be true for me.
Like you would not approach a girl out here looking like Adam Sandler.
Based on how you guys described it, no.
I mean, let's keep in mind that women are gorgeous. And so at the heart of it, she still looks a little cute. Like I'm sure you have rolled out of bed looking all askew and you've been like, oh, she's kind of cute.
But as a dude, I think there is a difference between like the not put together swag of like sweatpants, messy bun, whatever, versus what you guys described as like there's stains and rips in the sweats. And like,
okay, well, we were talking about Adam Sandler.
Okay, no, wait, I should clarify.
Because there's a difference between the two.
It's
okay,
not
we're not talking entirely to the level of sloppy.
No, like I'm not saying it looks like you climbed out of a dumpster.
Okay, what I felt from what you described was sloppy. And sloppy is no.
No. I just pictured Oscar the Grouch.
But
just like climb my way out of the dumpster.
But if what you do mean is just a sense of like, I'm okay with not having to be on 10 every time I walk outside. I'm comfortable in my skin. I'm comfortable if you see me in sweats, no makeup, and a messy bun. Then yes, I think a lot of guys do find that attractive. But sloppy though? No, yuck.
No, that makes sense. And I will say, I think we got a little
maybe
excited,
said too much.
discussing the Adam Sandler era, because I have and I also think that girls, when we say we look haggard, when we say we look like homeless, like whatever, I think we think it's a lot worse than it is sometimes.
Yes, I've seen homeless women on the street before. There's a difference.
Yeah. Like, I'm thinking, like, my sweatpants don't match the sweatshirt I'm wearing, and my hair doesn't look good. My edges look like a brush has not passed them. My, like, you know what I mean? I might look a little tired. I'm not wearing. Wait, what?
Just never seen one.
Oh,
a brush? What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Who was that? Is it in the room with us? Like, all that stuff. But yeah, I'm not talking like sloppy, like I stink and I look like I haven't ever bathed before type of vibe.
Climbed
like,
out of a
not,
dumpster,
like crusties in my eyes.
got into a fight with a raccoon on the way out, and then promptly got electrocuted.
Let's simplify the question. Sorry, I cut you off again.
No, you didn't.
Lord,
that was it. I was done. That was the end of my description.
Right.
Yeah, never apologize.
Do you think it's more okay? Do you think it's easier to approach a girl when she's in chill mode and just like not really caring, or do you think guys are more drawn to when she looks like somebody? You know what I mean?
Like she put in time and effort.
Depends on where we are. But if I have to just generalize and say it as an overall majority, I'd say chill mode, because chill mode reflects real life.
And so you would agree.
And chill mode is just chill.
So you would agree.
So you agree.
So you agree. You think you're really pretty.
Agree with what?
It's Mean Girls.
That's an inside joke.
Oh, I ain't never seen Mean Girls.
Oh my gosh. Jail.
I've seen Bad Boys.
I've never seen Bad Boys. Maybe we should have a Bad Boys Mean Girls movie night. Wait, is Bad Boys, like, am I going to be okay?
It might be a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mean is mean, but bad is bad.
Okay, fair enough. Do you think then, so, because I hear you and your response, thank you. Do you think that it comes down to anything to do with intimidation, or is it just like she seems cool and like she's chill and that's a vibe I like, versus like, well, maybe I can't approach her when she's looking that good because I have to come fully correct?
Well, can we describe what a 10 is in your guys' opinion too? Because to me, when I think of a 10, I'm thinking of like the red carpet.
I'm thinking about like going out for a nice dinner together. And like you put on a cute dress, your hair is done nicely, your makeup is on.
Hair done, makeup done.
Maybe you're wearing heels, maybe not, but like she's slaying.
I don't know. I'd say it's pretty even between both. I think guys will approach, if you look good, they'll approach you. But the laid back vibe doesn't equate to not looking good. So in terms of why, if you guys are visual, the visual part.
Sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with them.
Drake.
Yeah.
The visual aspect is not visual in the sense of what you are wearing. It's the fact that you are a woman that I could see. So whether you're...
So good is just good, but good doesn't look like just one thing.
Yeah, there's different versions.
Okay.
Right? Like, if a dude likes curvy girls, right? And you're curvy, it doesn't matter what you're wearing while you're curvy.
While you're curvy.
Yeah.
You're just out here being curvy.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
so
the
like,
state of rest.
Like,
existing in your curvy.
It's just different versions of visual.
Yeah.
We don't really discriminate based on what style of visual we're getting.
Interesting.
So I actually think it might be pretty even down the middle. I think there's guys that'll approach you if you look like, if they meet you at a bar and you're done up And I think there's guys that'll approach you if you're not done up.
That's interesting because I was literally listening to somebody talk this week about a toxic relationship that they used to be in. And one of the things that this guy used to do was tell her that she could not wear sweatpants because it made her look like she'd given up.
Yeah, that's personal. Because I like sweatpants, especially when they do that flip thing. You know, when the waistband.
Yes.
And then they flip it down. That's fire. So
to throw it out there though, if you're with a guy and he's telling you that you're not allowed to wear sweatpants because it makes you look like you've given up,
red flag.
Red flag.
Well, tell
Run
him,
for Zion's Hills.
Just give him your own red flag back.
I don't like to stoop to people's levels.
Yeah,
though.
don't stoop to the level.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, that's just a red flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
He better not be giving you any passwords.
Yeah.
And if he does, ignore the password. Red flag.
Well, I mean, I would like to hear any of the guys that are still with us at the end of this long and lengthy
If
episode.
you've made it this far.
Yeah.
It's just me here.
Don't say that. Don't say that. We want them to be here too. They are welcome. We would like to hear from the testosterone in the comments. What do you think? Are you more likely to approach a girl if she's like looking kind of cute, like you could tell she put some effort in, or if she's just like she really didn't care who was about to see her? Which one might you be more drawn to, or which one do you think is easier to do, if so?
For me personally, I'd be more drawn to the tone or less done up girl because I don't care to ever dress up.
Fair enough.
So personally, because that's not my bag of dressing up, I'm usually a hoodie guy in sweats.
You want to be in sweatpants too.
You're like, perfect. She matches.
Yeah, it's easier. It's more my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But I know some guys who are more about dressing up.
Yeah.
So they'll probably lean more towards those who dress up.
Yeah. All this to say, by the way, like, girls, please do not change the way you're dressing in an attempt to hook somebody. Like, if you think that you in sweatpants is going to do the trick, no, don't.
You know, that's a whole other
anything,
rabbit hole that we could go down.
If anything, this should say you definitely don't have to do anything because whatever you wear, someone's
if
gonna
a guy's
like
going to like you, he's going to like you. Yeah.
But if it's sloppy, you should go bathe or something.
Have you like shower?
Have you heard of the 2 of 3 rule, where it's like there's 3 things: your outfit, your hair, your face. You should not leave the house unless 2 of 3 are together. Have you heard that rule before?
No.
So I might leave the house with no makeup, but my hair looks decent and I'm wearing a cute outfit. Or my makeup is done, but I'm like full on sweats. But like I also look like I brushed my hair. Like you got to pick 2 of the 3 in order to appear not sloppy and just presentable.
I object.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
It should be hair, outfit, and smell. Smell is important.
I love smell. Good smell, let me clarify.
We hate smell.
Right.
I just smell strongly.
Big world, lots of smells.
Yeah.
So no one's going to get that joke.
No, I agree. I think.
If you get that joke, can you please?
Yeah, that one went right over my head.
Me too. I tried to walk away from it.
It's okay.
Y'all don't watch the same shows that I watch. Ugh.
No, we really do. You know, that's funny. I feel like we really don't have the same taste in shows. But anyway, I think we should wrap it up here.
Take us out of here.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you liked it, be sure to rate us wherever you're listening to your podcast. Give us a review. We love words of affirmation and we'd appreciate it. If you want to follow Big Girl Panties, all the information is in the show notes. If you want to follow Priya, myself, or EJ, the information is also in the show notes. Go check us out. And until next time, stay strong, stay courageous. I'm still learning this, y'all. Stay strong, stay courageous. Stay.
That was it.
No, there's something else.
The end.
There's one more.
Please hold. Please hold.
No, you got to say.
I've got this. Do you
want me to give you your line?
Mom, Chris, help me.
Stay strong, stay courageous.
You're doing great, sweetie.
I've got this, guys. Okay. It wasn't strong or courageous. We were really stealing from Joshua in the Bible? Yeah, we tried to take his line. Until next time, stay courageous.
Plagiarism.
Stay faithful. Plagiarism. We have to redo this, don't we? Okay. Until next time. Me referencing my notes. Does it get more chaotic? Okay, you know what it is? It's stay faithful, Stay courageous, stay faithful, keep embracing the journey, and don't get your panties in a bunch.
Panties in a bunch. That was
Love
the
you
line I was
guys.
going to give you.
Bye. Was it?
Yeah.
I should have listened. Should I do it again?
No. The end. Goodbye.
Are you sure?
Show's
I'll
over.
do